Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live. Hi, Monkey.
Hello, Duru, Shalom, and Hola. I can do the Olas. That could be my thing. Hola.
Okay, you do your. Hola. Okay. Okay. So, guys, as you all know, there is a lot of boom booms. A lot of boom booms. I know, Monkey. I know you want more. I know that you think this is not enough, but it is intense. It is intense what's happening.
It's a good
Uh,
start.
it's a good start. It's a good start. It's pretty crazy. It's getting really intense. And a lot of people, again, I don't know, a lot of people are looking at what's happening and they think that this is probably an preparation for something else. Like they're not doing all of this just so for no just to punish the Islamic Republic. It seems that very intentionally designed to prepare. I don't know what. Here are the things. Here are the list of things that people are predicting. They're predicting either taking over Kharg Island or another something in southern Iran. They're preparing, getting ready to attack the Kuchkolang Mountain, Pickaxe Mountain, or they're getting ready to attack some infrastructure. They already attacked some bridges, but they might want to go do more. A lot of infrastructure has already been hit. They also a lot of people are predicting that it seems like Israel might be getting involved soon because of a lot of fuel tankers that is moving in Israel. But I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. But I could tell you a lot of people, a lot of military experts, and a lot of analysts looking at this. Their understanding is that this is either preparation for something big, or creating the impression that they're getting ready for something big. What is your impression, Monkey?
Well, I could tell you what I want. I want this to be the start. I want them to hit every in-house, doghouse, outhouse, guardhouse, police station, anything to do with the government. Every building that has anything to do with the government, anything supplying the government, every police car, every single vehicle that has anything to do with the government, every single building that has anything to do with the government until the government is incapable of organizing. Then you take out the TV stations because they're all state TV. Then you take out the radio stations because they're all state radio. Then you take out the power. Then hey, who knows what happens in the dark?
Let's see how President Trump is talking about this, because the way he talks suggests that something big is happening. Maybe something big is happening, and this is even. I think this is after the regime already did their gesture of releasing the American hostage. Which is a good reminder that there are other hostages, American citizens, that the Islamic Republic is still holding. So if anybody thinks like, "Oh wow, thank you, the Islamic Republic, for releasing an American hostage," maybe this is a sign of de-escalation. Instead, your reaction should have been, "Wait, we still have. Why are they? Why do we still have Americans being held by the Islamic Republic? Why are they not all released? Why have they been held up to this point? Why haven't we been raising more information and awareness regarding the Islamic Republic holding American hostages?" But the good thing about this video is that this is President Trump basically talking about maybe the things that are about to come, even after that good, so-called good gesture by the Islamic Republic.
I would
So,
add to
yeah,
that
go.
before you start that JD Pence, the Vice President JD Pence, should have already negotiated that. Like while he's going on Joe Rogan, blaming everybody but Hezbollah and the IRGC for nuking his deal. He should have already have negotiated this hostage release because we have our hostages. We have all the NATO nations that might have hostages. How many people in NATO have hostages there? Are there any French people? That's a lot of people that could be in there. There's a lot of potential people in there that are supposed to be allied with us, but again, we have to be doing their work for them. And you know what? At least all the hostages that are American, JD Pence should have taken care of that. He's just looking for attention for himself right now. blaming anyone, bro,
Can,
anyone and everyone but the Hezbollah and the IRGC. I mean, how is Israel
can you
not gonna have a voice? They're in. You know what? I digress.
can you tell people why you're calling JD Vance JD Pence? Because then we have to explain this every time.
JD Vance is like a two-faced vice president that's looking out for himself or trying to cover his ass. Like that's what JD Pence is famous for, right? He turned on Trump because he was trying to save his own ass, right? He was trying to cover himself, and in the name of covering himself, he betrayed the president. Now JD Vance is out there trying to cover his own ass, trying to say that Time Magazine and Israel ruined his deal, the deal that he couldn't make with Hezbollah and the IRGC, when of course Israel is going to have an opinion on a deal that directly involves them, because part of the deal is Israel not being able to retaliate to attacks on it. That's part of the deal. What do you mean? What do you mean Israel can't talk about that? What are you talking about?
Mm.
That's insanity. Of course, they can have an opinion on a deal that directly ties them to being able to retaliate to attacks of their territory. It's basically a deal between five parties. One of them is the IRGC. One of them is the United States. One of them is Lebanon and Israel, and how Lebanon and Israel deal with Hezbollah. Those are all parts of the deal. And of course, Israel can have an opinion. Even Lebanon can have an opinion on it, because these are five parties directly tied to that deal. So for
Yeah.
Pence to
But
cry on Joe Rogan about it is ridiculous.
okay, but we're getting. I just wanted the short explanation because we were about to play this video from Trump. Okay, so let's see what President Trump is saying. Oh wait, before we do that again, Steak and Beans, thank you so much for the membership gifts for the people in the chat, guys. 10 people are members now because Steak and Beans got them membership gifts. Thank you so much for the gift basket. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see.
We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly.
We're gonna see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. Is that signs? Could this be signs of things to come soon?
I think it could be. Absolutely.
Okay, here's something that has already happened. I think you guys have already seen this. These absolutely this specific picture. I'll show you the rest of them as well. But this picture is going viral. And you know who's loving this picture? This, by the way, guys, these are U.S. Marines on an Islamic Republic tanker taking it over because it was trying to go through the newly reimposed blockade. So President Trump put back the blockade on the Iranian ports, meaning that the Islamic Republic cannot sell any more oil through the Persian Gulf. And this ship tried to go through it anyways. And the Marines basically took it over. And this picture was taken. And guys, you know who is loving this picture? Iranians. Iranians is going viral. This picture of this badass US Marine taking over an Islamic Republic tanker with the picture of the flag of the Islamic Republic in the background. And this guy just basically being one of the people who's taking it. This picture is making America look so powerful, and Iranians are sharing it all over social media. So it's so badass. Let me show you the rest of the pictures that they took. So this is one of them. So this is the tanker. This is how the Americans landed under and took it over. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's nice. That's nice.
That's beautiful.
What were they?
That
is beautiful. What were they even thinking trying to go through the blockade? Last time, not a single ship managed to go through. So what the hell were they thinking this time?
They're thinking about getting rescued by Marines. I don't want to work for these people. I don't want to die. I don't want to work for these people anymore. Right. Call me a life lover. I don't care.
True. Okay, so this is what CENTCOM posted, posting this, saying U.S. Marines from the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit conduct a verification boarding MT Wen Yao in the Gulf of Oman, July 16th. I don't know how to pronounce that. As of today, American forces have redirected 3 commercial vessels trying to run the blockade, disabled one that didn't comply, and boarded one to ensure full compliance with the ongoing U.S. naval blockade against Iran, against the Islamic Republic. The Strait of Hormuz and the surrounding waters remain free and open except for vessels attempting to violate American steel wall blockade. So, guys, that means that any ship leaving the ports of Iran is not allowed to go through the blockade. Not a single one. Any ship leaving any other port of any other country from around the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, they're allowed to go through the blockade. That's how it works.
Well, we don't want to inconvenience our Persian Gulf allies. What we want to do is ensure them about the safety and security that we can provide. Also, ensure them that this is in their best interest. Because, like the president says, Venezuela is ramping up, and Venezuela used to be like a top 10 economy. So, like, what you don't want is for oil to be so abundant and ramping up in production in other places that you being locked in there or not does not affect the price of oil. And when you open up, the oil goes so low that it is not even worth to pull out of a desert. You don't want it to get that low, because then those people are screwed. So that's why I think that's another reason they started like joining in on the operations.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, here's a good update on everything. Hold on. For people who want to catch up. Oh, before we do that, we got a super chat. Steak and Beans saying JD Vance or JD Rance. Go cry to be to the big mofo Rogan. I don't know. What do you think about this super chat?
JD Rance could be JD Pants. Pants on fire.
Pants.
He's lying. He's a liar with pants that are on fire.
Yes. Is Joe Rogan a big mofo? I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on him.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. He's a guy you wouldn't want to fight. He's not extremely tall. Like, he's not a very tall person, but he's like a pit bull. A pit bull is not the biggest dog you're gonna find, but you don't want it like locking on you.
Yes. JD's pants are on fire. Yes, yes. All right, guys, watch this update. This is a really good update. I like this guy. This guy
he's very sassy. He's spicy. I like it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, let's see what he has for us.
Fox News alert, it's infrastructure week in Iran. Their coastline's getting hammered. We're cutting off power and took out some major bridges, snapping their supply lines in half. Iranian state media is reporting their key railway station's a fireball. That station handles over 100 million tons of cargo a year from the Strait. It also sends oil to China. Now, that's not all. Last night, we took out command centers, air defenses, missile and drone sites, and coastal surveillance facilities all up and down the enemy coastline, and even hit targets deep inside near their capital. The blockade's holding strong. Today, Marines boarded a vessel, MT Wen Yao, in the Gulf of Oman to ensure compliance. Since the wall went back up, one blockade runner was disabled with a Hellfire missile. 3 turned around. This phase of the operation all comes down to controlling the strait. Iran's calling it their invincible red line. Now, it's our red line, too.
We're hitting them very, very hard. We're hitting every single thing that they have along the shore, along the waterfront. You know, if you look at the Strait of Hormuz, it's now, we're finding it hard to find where they have anything. We have to stop it. We have to keep it open.
Heavy airstrikes are pushing the enemy back so they can't send drones into the Gulf. But this may require a ground assault to secure strategic islands. Axios reporting that the president was briefed again on options for Karg Island.
It's like sometimes you need a ground campaign, but we have other people that will do the ground campaign for us. But we already hit Karg Island, as you know, twice. even 3 times. I said, hit everything but the oil. Just leave that little area from 25 yards out. Leave that little area. Don't touch the oil, because I don't want that in terms of the world economy. It's a chunk of the world economy. So we haven't hit that. At some point we could, but I think it's unlikely. As far as taking it is concerned, if we degrade them far enough and deep enough back, I would do that.
So now it's a pain game. Now, they're only concerned with regime survival. Their calculation is if they can't control the strait, they can't survive. So this is a key moment. Now, the more Trump escalates, Iran's going to unleash whatever they have left at the Gulf states' oil infrastructure, maybe get the Houthis involved, put the Red Sea in play, and make economic pain sting. But the commander-in-chief knows he has to finish the job. That could mean knocking the whole country's lights out, or another round of decapitation strikes. Iran's already failed the test. We gave peace a chance. The president now seems very determined to expand the war and end it on his terms.
So there are two issues with getting the Houthis involved. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but the Islamic Republic faces two problems. If they can get the Houthis involved to close the bubble mandab, that is a huge leverage that they have. That would it might have a huge effect. I mean, we thought that about the Strait of Hormuz, and it didn't. So we'll see. But right now, many economists and other analysts, their understanding is that if the Islamic Republic closes the Strait of Hormuz, it would be devastating, right? But here are the limitations of the Islamic Republic in being able to do that. One is Pakistan. Pakistan is one of the only remaining friends of the Islamic Republic right now, and the Islamic Republic needs them somewhat on their side. And Pakistan will be so furious because Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have a defense agreement with each other. And if Saudi Arabia gets into a war, Pakistan has to get involved and defend Saudi Arabia. And Pakistan does not want to do that. So Pakistan is putting so much pressure on the Islamic Republic not to do such a thing with the Houthis. One. Two, there's a difference between the Houthis and other proxies of the Islamic Republic. They are technically a government, right? Hezbollah is not technically a government. They are in the government, but they're not technically the government. The Hashd al-Shabi, and there are Iraqi politicians loyal to the Islamic Republic, but they're not the entirety of the government of Iraq. Hamas pretends to be a government in Gaza, but it's technically not a government. But the Houthis are actually also a government. Like the equivalent to the Houthis would have been Assad in Syria. So that means that they have their own agenda when it comes to governance that is sometimes deviates away from what the Islamic Republic wants. And in the past couple of months, they have shown to be not as loyal as the Islamic Republic wanted them to be. So the Islamic Republic needs to give them a lot of incentives to convince them to close the bubble mandab, knowing that Houthis that the consequences of them doing so will probably be American and or Israeli hellfire being rained upon them. So they need to be able to get something really big from the Islamic Republic in return for them to basically invite all of that. The whole world would be against them. Even the Chinese and Europeans will probably be against that. This is the best way for you to unite the whole world against you. Even the French might get involved. That's how big of a deal that would be. What do you think about all that, Monkey?
Well, on the Houthis, I have a question. Weren't they not even within the first delegation? Were they just late? Because last time we talked about them, they were kind of party crashers. There was videos of them showing up and everybody telling them, get out of the way, the Houthis are coming. But they weren't even let in the front door. They didn't read a little special verse of the Quran for them, right? That's not how they got there. They got there on their own. I don't know how much public support they have. I don't know how much they take that as an offense. I would believe that when they went over there, they might have negotiated some kind of deals. That might have been the whole purpose of them showing up. Another question I have, now a comment I have, pain at the pump means that we need that oil from there. If we open up Alaska, open up Argentina, open up Venezuela, and open up Brazil, if we open up all the oil from everyone else and ramp up production so that the oil from there is not a pump, and the only people that have a problem there are Persian Gulf allies that are maybe not doing enough to get on the IRGC. That changes the calculus. My third question goes to you. Also, like the Houthi question and this other question. If there is another round of decapitation strikes, what does that mean? Who goes? Who takes their place? Because if they keep talking about this other round of decapitation, that's like kind of your area of expertise. No one knows that bingo board more than you, as far as I know.
Okay. So I'll do the last one first. I think the main people that need to be taken out, like the main people the Americans would be interested in taking out, would be the IRGC, important people within the IRGC. So let's look at it. Let's look at it from the American perspective, Israeli perspective, and the Iranian people perspective. Who they want gone in the next. Let me bring you the bingo sheet on, so I'll tell you who they are. So Abdul, here, let me bring it on. All right. So the United States probably wants Vahidi, Abdullahi, and Musavi. Here's Musavi, and maybe Nejat. But okay, let's just go with the top three: Vahidi, Musavi, and probably Abdullahi would be the top three. If I'm American, I want them gone, right?
Who's
And
the
you
guy
can
with
see
the
that
question mark? Is that 00, Jihad?
Yeah, that's Ghani. That's Ghani. Actually, you know what? If Ghani is not our spy, that's a good one as well. But the number one person as an American I want gone is Musavi as the head of aerospace, because he's in charge of the missiles. Basically, there's also another person within the IRGC that is directly head of the missiles, but they never give up his identity, so nobody knows who he is. I'm pretty sure the Americans and Israelis know who he is, but the rest of us don't. So he's also on their list. But Musavi, I think, would be the number one person they want to get rid of. Maybe Musavi or Vahidi, right? So that's the American priority. The Iranian people's priority would be the people responsible for suppression, right? So that would be Radan over here as the head of police, and Ejei as the head of the judicial branch, chief justice, and the head of the executions. So I think that's what the Iranian people's priority would be for who to be assassinated. When it comes to Israelis, I think if I was Israeli, my priority would be the people who are in charge of the negotiations, because they're stopping from the war to be completed. So if I was Israelis, I would probably, I'm pretty sure the Americans won't let me, unless they get really frustrated. But if I had completely green light to do whatever I want, I would take out Ghalibaf, I would take out Pezeshkian, I would take out Arakchi. For good measure, I would also take out Rouhani and Zarif as well as part of the reformers, just to make sure there's nobody to negotiate with. Where's Rouhani? Here, Rouhani over here, and Khatami as well, and Zarif as well, just to make sure that we can't go back to any rounds of negotiations ever again, so that we could just finish the war. Obviously, Mujtaba Khamenei, if he's alive, I don't know if he's alive, but as a way to destroy morale among the pro-regime people, if he's alive, I would take him out as well, just to destroy morale. That's the list. Does that answer your question?
Okay, so like the dream scenario is everyone you just said.
Yes, everyone. Well, no, the dream scenario would be everybody on this list, everybody here.
Oh yeah, sure. But like if you have to tone it down to like, all right, just like, if I can't have everyone, let me have these guys, everyone you just said.
Yes, exactly. Well, my personal priority would be the people who are stopping the war, the people who negotiate. So my priority is the same priority as the Israelis, right? I would say Ghalibaf, Pezeshkian, Arakchi, and any of the so-called reformers here. I would just basically make it impossible to negotiate with the Islamic Republic by killing.
Maybe throw the head of the judiciary in there too.
Yes, of course. No, the reason is because I think if you take care of the people who could negotiate, the rest would follow anyways, right? Because if you have no one to negotiate with, then there will just be endless war until the regime falls. So I think by removing the people who potentially could negotiate, I'm already taking care of the rest. That's the way I'm thinking.
So you're like thinking the same. You're thinking everyone on the list, but like, okay, if I'm gonna do it domino style, I hit these 2 or 3 dominoes, and the rest will just fall.
The rest will fall. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That was a very fun question. Thank you. You got to you got me to just explain my wish list.
Hey, you
Just
know what?
nice.
I would like to, share in that wish and, help support
Yeah.
the bringing that forward, that target list, putting that out in the air. Hey, these are the reasons why these people should be taken out. I want everyone to know that. That's the
Mm.
thought I want out there. The other thought I had, what do you think about the Houthis? What did they negotiate? Why didn't they go in the front door with a little prayer, side chat
Oh.
about, hey, what happened? Were they just late? Is it just hard for them to travel? We don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, before I respond to that, I just want to say somebody saying heat turbine. Okay, it's saying take out the regime media too. I actually am against that. I want there to be a media that keeps encouraging people from the regime to keep fighting, fight, fight, fight. We're winning this. The regime media is a really good source of spreading delusion among the pro-regime people, and I want my enemy to be delusional. So the regime media is good at basically keeping these people in a fighting mood, and I want that. I want that. So I would say don't touch the regime media until the very last moment. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
I would.
high turbine. I
High
have in my
turbine. What
chat. He
did I say?
explained it to me. I didn't know either.
Oh, oh, okay, okay, okay. All right, that's good. All right, so with regards to the Houthis, they didn't arrive late. That was the day before, right? In fact, they gave them a grand entrance, and they did treat them well, and they
So
gave
it
them a
was a
good
grand
lift.
entrance. It was just not the same entrance.
Yes, it was basically like, look at everybody, the Houthis are coming. Get out the way, get out the way. The Houthis are coming. And
Yes, like
also
the
when they
Ludacris
came,
song. Have you ever heard that Ludacris song?
no.
Oh my God, there's a rapper, and he has a very, very famous song that is boom, 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 move, bitch, get out the way, get
Wait.
out the way, like
Oh yeah.
like that.
Okay. 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 Oh wait, we got a super chat. Let me read that. I'm your How do you say that? Sensei? Sensei?
I'm your
Sensei.
sensei. Sensei is like master in
Sensei.
Japanese.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah. I'm
You've
your
been over
sensei.
there. I'm still a little jealous about that.
Yes, I'm your yeah.
A
I had a
beautiful country.
samurai clothing. Yes, beautiful.
What?
All
Oh my
right.
God.
Yeah. There's a castle that you go into, and they give you a samurai cloth to wear with the sword and everything
Did you
inside the
take a
mansions.
picture? I want to see that one day. I know
Yeah.
we'd like to talk about business, but I mean, share the pleasure
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I took a picture. I took a picture. It's on my Facebook. Okay, let me see what I am your sensei is telling us. Is saying, how will U.S. military deal with IRGC proxies, Houthis, terrorists blocking the Red Sea, hijacking and using drones on ships? They will just bomb the Houthis. They will destroy their ports. They will destroy their missile launching capabilities. They will destroy any planes. The Houthis are far away, so they have to destroy their routes or any planes or any ships that are bringing these equipments from the Islamic Republic to Yemen. And they had to punish the Houthis until they give in and bend the knee. The Americans and Israel, the Israelis are actually very good at that as well. The Israelis were very effective the last time they bombed the Houthis. But
We
what
might
do you
let them
think?
have fun with that.
Yes, you should. Yeah. But isn't that the right way? That's how you
No,
just
I
basically.
agree. Like the thing
Yes.
with the Houthis is that their network is not as advanced on the ground, so we may be able to spy on where they are more easily and find their little ship a little more easier. We have done this before. We have wiped out the strings of their leadership, so we might do that again. There was a big campaign on that even before February 28th.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah. So just here's the short answer. Bomb them, and then bomb them some more. And then when you're done with that, then you bomb them even more. That's the answer. And thank you, Sensei. And then we have Sticky Beans with a super chat saying US CIA and Mossad should go on all lower ranks in that list. All make a gap between top and bottom. Gonna create dysfunctioning command change. You know what's taking beans? I think they're doing exactly that already. I think they have been doing that for years. In fact, I know that Mossad has been doing that for years. right? They're all over that chain of command. They're everywhere within this.
But if we're talking specifically about the bingo card, yes, get them all. Sure. Like get the lower and the higher, make more gaps, make the experience gaps bigger. Yes, I agree.
Yes. Oh, okay. I thought you mean just be there and observe and collect information and just be the chain. You know what? Mossad doesn't just take out the chain. Mossad is the chain. Okay, like a lot within the command structure of the Islamic Republic, there's so many different people within there that is just Mossad. There are many people within the Islamic Republic who are Mossad who accuse other people of being Mossad and they get them executed. That's how
Didn't they have their? Weren't they talking to what was his name, Mujahidinejad or whatever his name was, the old president? There was an article about that, like the Mossad.
Ahmadinejad. Oh, Ahmadinejad. Yes.
Ahmadinejad.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, Ahmadinejad was working with Mossad apparently to try to be the next leader, but that didn't work out.
I said Mujahidinejad. I got two different things mixed up.
I'm sure there's somebody out there called Mujahidinejad, so it's not that.
That's funny.
I'm sure that's someone's name somewhere, right? Okay, look at this. There's another video from Trump. Oh yeah, this was a big statement. President Trump came out yesterday. Said, "Oh, you watch his speech. This is the most important part."
The United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it?
This was a very significant speech that Trump had, talking about this was a big announcement coming out and talking about the influence on elections by Russia, China, the Islamic Republic, North Korea.
I don't think he said all that. Like, there's two things that the media is doing. The media is claiming that it's all hacks, that it's not talking about disclosing the voter rolls and addresses and personal information, so that bad actors inside California, bad actors inside New York can use those voters rolls to do fraudulent voter roll elections. Like, you can have different people fill in mail-in ballots for them. So one of the disinformation campaigns is to say that it's more people than China. Like, mostly he talked about China. I don't know why people are putting in Russia and North Korea. That's something that CNN is doing. That's something that other people are doing. He mostly talked about China. And so it was specifically about a hack that has been reported by a lot of media, and efforts that they're doing to use the media against the administration. These are two separate things, and they're trying to conflate it with hacks. That's like the media. What the media is doing is lying about what the subject of what this talk was. I saw this talk live. I saw every second of it. I broadcasted live, and I made sure I went through the AI. I looked all the places, all the people that have done this kind of broadcast before. So I got it direct from whitehouse.gov, which is the right way to do it. And his discussion was mostly about, number one, how the media has been paid, and to propagandize against the administration. And number two, how the China has compromised the voter rolls, and then the party to benefit from it is the people that use the voter rolls for fraud, which is something that Nick Shirley widely demonstrated on camera in California. Also James O'Keefe, and it's been demonstrated in more than one area. That's just one of the areas where it was very obvious. So what the news is doing is trying to conflate it with North Korea and other people, and trying to make it all about voter machine hack, which is not what he talked about at all. So that's the disinformation that they're putting out there.
What do you think about the quote that President Trump is saying? Give us the context for this one, because here's President Trump, and I'll play it one more time. Here, give us the context for this. Trump is saying the U.S. adversaries, including Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, have the capability to compromise U.S. elections infrastructure. Let me play it one more time.
The capability is not the same.
Let me play. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. I didn't make any claims. Let me just play it one more time.
The United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to compromise U.S. election infrastructure. That's unquote, but that's some statement, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's one.
Yes.
Yeah, so we should take this seriously. I mean, he didn't say they did for sure, but it is important that we take all of this very seriously.
Okay, so he said that has the capability isn't the same as going for half an hour to say China did this,
Yeah.
China did that, and China did that. So it's what
Right.
people are doing is taking that only quote out of like context. Like that's what he opened with, the future capability, because he's talking about future elections. But then he goes on to talk about things that did happen.
Yeah.
And when he goes into the things that did happen, China has the largest part of involvement. I'm sure they all tried. I'm sure they all used some of the information. But if you look at the full
I do also think
context,
there's a sense. I'm pretty sure Russia also has tried a lot, right? For sure. And I do think, though, like sometimes some people not take Russia seriously because there's a sensitivity that the Democrats were doing Russiagate in the first term. And I think then some people have a hard time accepting that Russia is also involved in the elections because of how much the Democrats use that against President Trump. But I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying, like, yes, obviously China, that's the biggest threat, but we should never underestimate how much Russia tries to also meddle with elections in United States.
When it comes to Russia, you have to remember that Biden basically gave Putin permission. Like there is a very famous time that he said, well, if they have a little incursion, we might not get involved. And that's, kind of might have been what sparked the whole entry into into Ukraine, right? So, and who would Russia favor? They would definitely not favor Trump. They would definitely favor the Democrats. I think you're absolutely right. There is the right wing is probably a little reticent to comment on Russia. But if they have more evidence about China than anyone else, they're going to mention China more than anyone else. And I think they do have more evidence of China's involvement through money, like trying to fund people against like Code Pink, for example, or, the party, because China, like you could explain it better than I do, but they control the company. So whenever you say, oh, it's not this guy, it's this company, this millionaire that's tied to this company in China, they control 51% of those companies. They control those people, their lives, their homes. Like these people aren't like free agents. They are very much under government control and command.
True. I mean, China is the CCP is a much bigger adversary to the United States. So you have to take it a lot more seriously, for sure.
And Russia hates Trump because Trump is giving them a lot of targeting information. That's what Russia is most mad about. What the effectiveness of Ukraine comes from Trump.
Okay, so I have this video. Hold on. True, that's very good point. But there's so much reactions to what JD Vance has done. I'm going to get into it, but let me just read the super chat. Nima, with a super chat, Musadinejad. Yes, that's a good one. Musadinejad. Nejad means like ethnicity, right? So Ahmadinejad, for example, is somebody who is comes from Ahmadi. So Musadinejad is somebody who comes like as a children born, like if somebody's ancestry has been in Mossad, so Musadinejad would be somebody associated with somebody who has a lot of family in the Mossad. So that's a beautiful name. You know what? Now I want that name, Nima. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm changing my last name. I'm no longer Armin Navabi. I'm from now on Armin Musadinejad. Fantastic. Beautiful name. You start this comment? You wanted to?
Yes, so Armin and Monkey, no American who watches mainstream media saw Trump's address last night. They refused to air it. Kind of tells you a lot, huh? Well, Todd Webb, you are absolutely right about that. They cut the feed after like 5 minutes or less. So no one got the full context. Everyone cut it off. To see it live, you had to go to like Liberty, to Politics, Motorpool, Grease Monkey, or some other streamers. It was mostly showed in its full context by streamers and that use the White House. I'm absolutely sure. I'm absolutely NBC, CBS cut it off.
That's not my question. I said, did you show it on your channel, on your segment, or are you going to show it? Is that your plan?
I already showed it. I showed it live. Like
Okay.
I went live and showed it live. It
Good.
came out live. I wanted everybody to see it just as it happened. I have seen this kind of
Nice.
streams before with other people doing it, but I wanted to make sure that I used the safe link. I went into the AI, found out about it, found out how other people do it, and that's
Wow.
what we did last night.
All right, guys, this is why you should go subscribe to Grease Monkey's YouTube channel. I'm gonna put it in the chat in the not the chat in the link in the chat. Okay, the link in the chat. If you guys want to get the everything with the context and the explanation on American politics, the Monkey's YouTube channel is the best place to do so. So make sure you go and subscribe. Okay. All right. So there's this video from Emily about JD Vance. But before I play it, because Emily, she has some really good takes, and I love her. Even if I disagree with her, I love her. She has been so supportive of the Iranian people, and she has her takes are usually takes that most Iranians agree with. But before I play her video, let me actually go back to JD Vance, so you guys have some context, and then we see if we agree with Emily Schrader's response to JD Vance. So let me just play this, and I'll be right back into the situation while I play this.
I definitely think you have seen this very discreet, extremely well-funded campaign to try to derail the negotiation and try to derail the deal. And, there's this Time article that came out yesterday. A friend sent it to me. It's like worth reading because it lists a bunch of people who have quite literally been paid by a former Trump campaign person who was himself paid by certain elements within the Israeli government. And those people are attacking me viciously for quite literally trying to accomplish the negotiation objective that the president set for the country. So
what is their position? Like, are they attacking you? How?
Oh, it's social media posts. It's, they're leaking to reporters. They're attacking me obsessively, saying that we should not be negotiating with Iran. We should just keep the military campaign going indefinitely. And that is their explicit position. And coming after me saying that, people have come after me and say that I'm influenced by Qatar, that I'm influenced by foreign governments, that, I take my marching orders from Tucker Carlson. And there's just so much bullshit out there, when what I'm actually trying to do is accomplish what the president of the United States told me to accomplish, which is a settlement of this that accomplishes our objectives. Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. We have the free flow of oil and gas. And like, I should be clear, I don't actually mind. I don't mind that let's say certain elements of the Israeli government want to criticize the deal or have disagreements about the deal. I don't even mind an effort to try to influence, foreign governments try to influence the United States all the time. Israel does it, other countries do it. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. What bothers me is actually when Americans meaning American leadership allows that influence to affect their judgment and to affect what they are advocating for. That's what really bothers me. People are always going to try to influence the United States of America, whether they're allies of ours or whether they're enemies of ours. But again, when I open up the pages of Time magazine and I see that there's a literal foreign influence campaign being funded to tank the very deal that I was pursuing, and oh, by the way, many of the people who were receiving that money were actually attacking me in completely dishonest ways, my response to that is, well, go to hell. I'm going to do what I have to do for the American people. I represent Americans first.
All right, telling the Israelis to go to hell. Just one more minute. This is another video I just want to play, but didn't play this last time.
You've done exactly the same thing.
Oh my God. But let's go back.
If it was your call, would you have done exactly the same thing?
Well, what did the president said publicly, that JD was less enthusiastic about it, I think was the exact phrase that he used. I mean, my attitude towards this, man, as you know, is the vice president. I'm not a public commentator. Like, my job is to give the best advice I can to the president of the United States. I think he's said a little bit about what that advice was. But once the president makes a decision, so long as I think that it's, you know, legal and ethical and all that stuff. And I certainly think whether you agree or disagree with it, what we've done has been legal. My attitude towards it is I try to make it as successful as possible. And I've got friends, of course, I think, you know, you've expressed some skepticism of this. I've got a lot of friends, both in private and public, who've expressed skepticism of this, who say, well, this is terrible. We disagree with the decision, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not a public commentator. My approach to this is not to Monday morning quarterback a decision that was made 3 months ago. My approach to it is to try to make it as successful as possible, which is why I poured my heart and soul into these negotiations, which is why I've tried to make that goal, Iran not having a nuclear weapon, something that's not true, both not just now, but is true in the long term. And that's the way that I try to approach it.
So what?
All right, so now that we watched that, let's see what Emily Schrader has to say about
Come
this,
on, you
and let's
can't
see-
like you're edging me. Let me go against that motherfucker and last a little while. You're gonna let him away. Go to what was saying all that shit. I gotta say something. I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna literally explode. My tail is gonna
Okay.
fall off. It's already vibrating like I don't want to say what things vibrate like that do, but you gotta let me at this motherfucker.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
This piece of shit is throwing a bait. The bait is, oh, there's influence from news media. There's influence. AIPAC is American. That's the wrong conversation. The right conversation is, motherfucker, Hezbollah is attacking Israel. Part of the deal is Israel can't attack back. How can you say that they have an undue influence in the negotiation that directly involves them? For someone that's not about talking on the media, you sure want to go on all the broadcasts. This J.D. Pence motherfucker wants to be president. He's campaigning, and part of his campaign is I am better than Trump, which is why he's saying, hey, this was the mission I was given, but I couldn't fulfill it because, you know, the Time magazine, because Israel, not blaming the correct people. The correct people to blame for the deal not being able to be achieved is IRGC and Hezbollah, because IRGC says you can't attack Hezbollah, but Hezbollah won't stop attacking Israel. How the fuck are you going to tell me that Israel can't be involved when part of the deal is that Israel can't fire back when being bombed? How the fuck are you? This is within their borders. They're getting missiles inside their home. How the fuck are you going to tell me Israel shouldn't be trying to influence? Oh, people try it, but, you know, they do have an undue influence. How many other countries are getting hit by Hezbollah? How many other countries have Hezbollah as part of a negotiation into things that are happening in their country? How many other countries are doing that? Name them. Let me get this list of people that have an influence into the decision making and also have rockets coming into their borders from Hezbollah. Because part of the deal, and everybody fucking knows it, and everybody knows it's retarded, is part of the deal was Israel can't attack Hezbollah. Meanwhile, Hezbollah did not stop attacking. So how are they supposed to just shut the fuck up while they get bombed so you can have your little victory dance with the IRGC? Fuck you. That's what I'm saying. Go to hell. Well, fuck you, you lying sack of shit. Because to me, this isn't about Israel. This is about you lying to the American public about the conditions of the deal that you were supposed to make. You knew goddamn fucking well that part of the deal was Israel's response to Hezbollah, but you're not talking about that, cabrón. That's not what you're talking about, is it, you piece of shit? J.D. Pence. J.D. Pence is out here for himself. J.D. Pence is out here to betray Trump. J.D. Pence is out here to make a name for himself so he can blame Trump and put him as a mistake of the past when he makes his run. That's what he's after. That's why he's on all these podcasts.
Wow. Okay.
I feel better now. I was holding that in. It's like a fart, you know, you don't want to hold it in. Got to let it out. It's like being constipated. Then it's, you know, a lot harder.
Okay.
Get out. I have to get that shit out, man.
Okay. Let's stop talking about poop, though.
I mean,
Wait,
poop
look
is
at-
talking right now. Did you see all the poop that guy talked?
Yes. Regular, you got a super chat. Roman Cabbage saying, free the monkey. Hashtag free the monkey. And also,
had to get
fuck
it out
Vance
there.
and his ilk. Yes, that was good. That was pretty good. Look, monkey, people are happy. See, monkey is smiling again. Monkey, wait, fart power over 9,000. Monkey, there was another one. Monkey tells us how he really feels. That's pretty good. Let it go, bro. Hey, say it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Saying great job, Grease
I
Monkey. Love
appreciate
the
you
rant.
guys. I appreciate you
Yes.
guys. I feel
Thank
so
you.
much
Oh my
better
god.
now.
Let him chimp. Yeah, people are saying let him chimp. Yes, yes, we have to let him chimp. All right. I don't know if Emily Schrader would be able to follow that, but let's see how she does. Okay. I'm sure she's gonna do really good. But let's see.
And now I have a few comments for the vice president himself. Mr. Vice President, you spent the better part of your interview whining about people criticizing you online and inventing conspiracies about U.S. allies like Israel, instead of actually being a man and taking responsibility for your own failures. It couldn't possibly be that Americans, Israelis, Iranians, Gulf Arabs, national security experts, or even many of your own supporters genuinely oppose your policies. No, it had to be some well-funded campaign directed by the Israeli government, an extraordinary accusation to make without the receipts to back it up, and one that conflates legal and transparent advocacy with a sinister foreign plot. Reality is much simpler. People aren't criticizing you because they were told to. They're criticizing you because your approach to the Islamic Republic has been a catastrophic failure, because you are a catastrophic failure. After all, it's you who seriously tried to claim that the regime's leaders had realized that the way they've been doing business isn't good for them. Really? This is a regime that has spent 47 years chanting death to America, murdering Americans, plotting to assassinate President Trump, taking American hostages, and exporting terrorism. They slaughtered 40,000 Iranian citizens just for protesting in January. Yet you think they're motivated by what's good for their country? They didn't have a change of heart. They played you for time, ran circles around you, and turned your naivete into their greatest strategic asset. But that wasn't enough, because you also accused Israelis of wanting indefinite war with Iran. No, JD, we don't want an indefinite war. That's precisely why we don't want to hand billions of dollars and a lifeline to the regime that spent decades launching wars. You know, the same regime that tried to assassinate the president that you serve. But what's truly remarkable is what you chose to ignore. You invent conspiracies about Israel while saying nothing about the multi-billion-dollar Qatari influence operation that has poured money into American universities, think tanks, lobbying efforts, media, and political networks. That is a proven foreign influence campaign. But apparently that isn't relevant, because you can't scapegoat Qatar for your own failures. If that wasn't enough, your comments also smeared all Iranians as terrorists.
How is it in the United States' interest to have 94 million desperate people flooding into Europe, flooding into the United States, to have, you know, sort of the terrorist infrastructure that can get established when you fan terrorists all over the world? We've run this experiment before.
The Iranian people have stood shoulder to shoulder with Israel and the United States. Millions of them have risked imprisonment, torture, and execution to demand the fall of the regime and to stand with the United States even in wartime. They were told help is on the way by your administration, and now you label them terrorists? How dare you speak this way? A real leader takes responsibility when he gets things wrong. He doesn't blame his failures on allies or invent conspiracies to explain why people disagree with him. We don't need a paid campaign to criticize you, JD. Your own words, your own judgment, and your own failures have done that for you.
That was pretty good. I liked every single word. What do you think? That was perfect.
I like something she's touched on. I think as an Israeli, she should know they were included in the negotiations and should have like you know, a say on it, because part of the negotiations how you deal with Hezbollah when Hezbollah attacks Israel. Okay, so I guess Hezbollah and Israel and Lebanon are in these negotiations. That's something that's not being mentioned enough. I think it should be mentioned more. I could back up what she's saying, because I have this graph right here that shows the influence operations that she's talking about. Now, let's look at where is AIPAC. AIPAC is mostly American. Okay, so AIPAC, that's right here. This is Americans. These right here, these are Americans. Now, this is Farah Lobby. This is what comes directly from Israel. 0.7, 700K. That's how much they're spending. That's how much Israel spends. Like when that accusation was said, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about this 0.7, which is bullshit. That's not where the influence is. AIPAC is American people. That's 97 million. Okay, so where is United Arab Emirates in the Farah lobby? Okay, so this is direct lobby. This is the Farah lobby. This is lobbying. If we're talking about lobbying, let's see where United Arab Emirates is. $242 million without counting the university money, which kicks it all up to influence spending in around $2 billion. So why aren't we talking about that? You want to talk about influence? The biggest lie that there is the great influence of Israel. You know why you have all these skittle-haired freaks out in the streets in your university? You know why your sons and daughters are getting indoctrinated into being furry shooters? Here you go right here. This is it right here. Saudi Arabia, $310 million in the lobby. Mind you, directly in lobbying, Israel has 0.7, and these 95 millions are Americans. The dentist lobby spends more money than all this put together. The dentists, they spend more money in lobbying here. Oh, but you want to cry about Israel. 242 million from UAE in the lobby, 310 million from Saudi Arabia directly to the lobby. Qatar, 256 million directly to the lobby. We're not talking about the universities, think tanks, and all that. So the Qatar is getting all the way into the, let's put it at 6 billion, right? And then we have China, $247 million registered into the lobby. 457 million straight into the lobby. Look at it right there. And you can check these numbers yourself. And how much does Israel have? 0.7? Get the fuck out of here. Look at this. Without counting the Confucius Institute, and this has varied a lot. Like, let's put it halfway there. Let's put it at a total of, I don't know, of 4 billion or 3 billion around there. It's still a lot more money than 0.7 and still a lot more money than 95.7. So these people are full of shit. I'm sick of hearing about that bullshit about, oh, the Israel influence, the Israel. You start talking about this shit, you start talking about this lobby. Lobby, look at what it says there. It says lobby. Somebody math that out. I want to see the videos. I want to see a clip compilation of all the times that it was said on video in the news by the president, by everyone. Hey, part of the MOU is how Israel treats Hezbollah. Part of the MOU is Israel has to stop. I want a compilation of that. And then Van saying, well, I don't know why they're having an opinion. Because he's full of shit. Of course they have an opinion. Part of the deal is how Israel deals with the Hezbollah. They have to be in part of the negotiation. He's full of shit. He's JD Pence. He's out here trying to make a name for himself. And he's doing that by lying to the American public about what's really going on with this deal. And with that, that's all I got to say about that. He's full of shit.
Thank you for that. All right. We got a super chat. You want to read this one, Monkey?
Sure. One second, please. Sherry saying, on October 7, 1985, terrorists hijacked cruise ship Aquile Laro, a Jewish passenger named Leon Klinghoffer, and they killed passenger named Leon Klinghoffer and dumped his body overboard. Notice the date, October 7th. That might have some significance. Yes. They may be
they murdered him in 1985 on October 7th. He was a disabled Jewish American passenger. The Palestinian militants took him and basically threw him. Yeah. And basically October 7th. Yes, they're evil. But that was also on October 7th. That's what Sherry is saying. Thank you so much, Sherry, for that reminder for the reminder of how the level of evil that we're dealing with here. This person wrote something that I haven't read, but it got a lot of attention. So let me just read this one. Professor Jeffrey Lax is saying, careful, JD Vance, your anti-Semitism is showing. Now, look, I actually supported the MOU very publicly, in fact, in op-eds on major shows. So you can't call me an operative of the Israeli government. I supported the MOU as war for shot, even though I believed Iran would violate it. You failed, and here we go again. You blame the Jews. You dismiss your ties to Tucker as ludicrous. Huh? His son worked for you. He got you the gig you're in. Be straight with us. Why is it that anything that ever goes wrong is because of the Jews? And why is it that every time you blame the Jews, you call it something that is well-funded, in quotations? the Israel lobby is but a pittance. Pittance? How do you pronounce it?
Pittance.
Pittance?
Yes, that means a very, very
Pittance.
little.
Small. A pittance of the lobbyist money that goes to America and the American politicians. It's a pittance even just among lobbies tied to other countries. And why is it that you conceal that this cabal that was against you and the MOU was in truth a huge organic movement by Americans and who had no idea of this well-funded secret campaign that you're talking about, nor was there even time to be influenced by it? Why are American Jews viewed by you as less American than all other Americans? This requires therapy, but more importantly, for American people, makes you unqualified to be in this job. You and the MOU were taking widespread hits from Americans before the MOU text was even released. So your story doesn't hold water. We all know why you do it. Being anti-Semitic is cool and easier than ever. And you're a master at using that hate to make excuses for your failures and gripes with the world. Islamism and socialism is destroying America as we know it, but you're uncensored about that.
Unconcerned.
You're unconcerned. Sorry, guys. You're unconcerned about that. Somehow the problem is 0.02% of the world's population, those pesky Jews. I will tell you this. I voted for Trump 3 times, but I will never vote for you. What do you think about that statement, Monkey?
I think it's a good statement. Like I look, Americans, they hate the word anti-Semitism because it's been used to hammer us. So that might be like a some people might just not keep reading after that. That's I wouldn't put it as a good opener, but I don't disagree. I agree with everything he said. Right, everything he said is true. It's spot on. My opening would be, what do you mean they shouldn't have an opinion? They're literally part of the deal. Part of the deal was how Hezbollah is treated by Israel when Hezbollah bombs Israel. Like that would be my opener because that destroys his whole argument. But I support that. If you're listening, guy, well, not that guy, not our guy. If that person is listening, I would say, hey, the way to break through to Americans is to help them remember that Israel was part of the MOU the whole time. So why shouldn't they have an opinion? They're tied by it.
True. We've been oh wait, we got a super chat by Fleshy Interloper saying just caught the tail end of that chimp out. Okay, fantastic.
Appreciate you, homie.
Yes, thank you, guys. Look at how much people love you, guys. Monkey is getting monetized pretty soon, so make sure you go support him. If you enjoy the chimp outs, don't forget to go support his channel. Okay, let me put the link one more time in the chat for people who support you. There we go. Let me see.
I think we reached our goal of 675 yesterday, so I don't know. Let's go for 85. 10 more. Can we get 10 more in the stream? I would appreciate that.
Nice. And we got another super chat. Wow, guys, we're already at 9. Thank you so much. Agent Anderson saying terrorists, not militants. British soccer hooligans are militant. And Rubio 2028. Yeah, I mean, yes.
I don't know a lot about ball foot. I know ball foot is important to a lot of people. I'm trying to get better at watching ball foot. I know it's important to you guys, but monkeys, we kind of have 4 hands. So, it's not our ballpark.
Okay. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Agent Anderson. But sometimes I hope you don't get upset. Sometimes I call these people militants as well. If I say militants, it doesn't mean that they're not terrorists, because terrorists are militants. Terrorist is a subcategory of militants. But you're right. We should be more. I should be also more careful with calling them terrorists, because we need to call them exactly what they are. So thank you for that reminder. Thank you, Agent Anderson. And then we reached our goal. Oh, confetti. Thank you so much. We got 10 out of 10. Thank you, Sayed, for getting us there, and everyone else who helped. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, guys. All right. So we got, Mikey, it's exhausting to just listen to people like Vance, right? You know, we do appreciate the chimp out, but we also need to get inspired and listen to some stuff that we like and enjoy. It's not good to just be, you know, hating on people. We should also give ourselves a break here and there and
I
listen
agree
to
with her on
something.
that too.
Yeah. So Emily Schrader tweeted this Iranian. This is an Iranian account saying this man should be president. So let's see what he posted. Actually, let me read the caption before I play the video. This guy is saying, this Iranian account is saying, right after JD Vance's disastrous interview, Secretary Rubio stepped up and delivered an absolute masterclass. He didn't just criticize radical leftism and terrorism, he psychologically dissected them. He stripped away the lies and exposed their core. And he's quoting the Rubio, which I'm not going to read because I want to hear it from Rubio himself, and saying their idealism is nothing but a poisonous resentment cloaked in the language of justice. They don't want a better world. They want a gray, flat, godless world devoid of heroes, courage, and greatness. Stop romanticizing them. They are not idealists. They are destroyers. Well done, Secretary Rubio. So let's see what he has to say, because I saw this video getting a lot of praise.
This is a distinctive and unique evil. It has always been driven by a hatred, above all else, a hatred for civilization itself. It is a revolt of the worst against the best, a revolt of the weak and the cowardly against the strong and the good. It is perpetrated by those who cannot build, who cannot create, who cannot achieve great things, and take their revenge upon the world for their own inadequacy by seeking to destroy those who can. This is what radical leftism is. It may wear various different slogans and ideologies across place and time. They can call themselves anti-capitalist or anti-imperialist or communist or anarchist or Marxist, but the fundamental character is always the same. It's always the same. It is a poisonous resentment cloaked in the language of equality and justice, liberation, an overwhelming need to tear down what greater men have built, to wreck what is beautiful and what is right on behalf of people who are only filled with ugliness and have nothing else to offer the world. Wow. Through violence and through terror, they once again seek to impose their ugliness on all of us. The old dogma was wrong. The old dogma was wrong. None of this is driven by idealism. It is not utopian. In fact, it is the opposite. One of the criticisms you sometimes hear of communism, for example, is that it sounds good in theory, but it never works in practice. That's actually not true. Communism does not sound good in theory. The world it envisions for all of us is small, flat, gray, leveled of all exception, drained of all that is good and noble in the human soul. The world it envisions is a world without courage, a world without creativity or ambition, a world without heroes or glory or great causes to strive towards, without a world without miracles, without myths, without men who rise above the rest to do incredible and extraordinary things. And the world communism envisions is a world without God. For these architects of revolutionary violence, the towering achievement of our civilization, for them, it's an unbearable humiliation, a reminder of what they cannot do, and a reminder of what they cannot be. So they choose instead to destroy. They attack pipelines, they attack railroads, they attack power grids and laboratories, the physical embodied symbols of power and invention and achievement. This is the nature of the terrorism we face today. They despise the West because the West is great.
Wow. They despise the West because the West is great. That was powerful. That was a very powerful speech.
West Side, I will say that this is part of the big problem with the perception, is that the difference between right and left is about traditionalism versus some kind of new thing. The difference between right and left is the right to private property, the right to liberty, the right of the individual. Everything that is leftist goes against the right of the individual. It goes against your individual rights and your individual freedoms, your individual property. That is how I would, going forward, I wish more people would correctly describe the right and the left. Because if you look at what the ISO cucks want, they want the leftism of redistributing Jewish property. Well, you can't be on the right wing and say you want to redistribute Jewish property because of some ancient or perceived injustice, because then you're just being a left winger. The left wingers detect some oppression, and due to that oppression, decide that they have the right to redistribute, making the ISO cuck free trade people on the right being just leftists disguising themselves. It's a disguise. These people are not on the right because they're not on the individual right. Like, you can't get rid of the Jews and redistribute their property and say you're for free trade, because free trade means they have the right to their property and they have the right to trade with whoever they want, as long as they're not breaking, other laws, right? And most of those laws should be about your right to, individual right to own property, to the right to, I would say, speak and defend yourself and your property. That's a basic form of it. The right to own and defend yourself and your property, including your speech, right? These people are always against it, always. And we have them in Christianity. We have them in Judaism. We have them among white people. We have them among Black people, among Latinos, among every nation, every profession. They're in Hollywood, but there's also people on the right in Hollywood. So you can't blanket blame them. There are woke Jewish people in New York, but there's also based people that are Jewish in New York that are on the right wing. So this dichotomy where you try to blanket blame Judaism, blanket blame Israel, no, they have their left and their right too. So who do you side with? You side with the side that is for your right to own and defend yourself and your property. That includes your speech. That's the side that's right. It's just in the name. It's right. It's a right wing, right? There are elements in the left that disguise traditionalism as the right to redistribute. They disguise traditionalism as the right to control trade. Isolationism is not free trade. Not at all. So you have to understand that difference, and that difference should be brought up more often. Anyone who tries to blanket blame a race is hiding their leftism, their desire for redistribution. You're trying to hide the fact that you hate the Jews, you want to redistribute them, you want to control their trade. That's all leftist tendencies. You hide it in some traditional Christian value that doesn't exist. That's not part of the Bible. That's not like, the Bible's a lot about property. There's a lot about ownership, right? And, there's a lot of that in there. Like you have leftists nitpicking verses that go against a certain theory. But if we're talking about Western cultures, one of the things that helped the Enlightenment most was the church driving towards individual rights, driving towards the value of individual humans. Its epitome, like as we have seen it in law, is America. So who has better free speech laws than America? There may not be the same in every state, but it's better than the UK. It's better than most of Europe. You're not going to have the same speech laws in China. You're not going to like it. You don't have the same laws in Japan. You're going to be freer in your speech here. So when people try to make this false equivalency that the far right is somehow a right wing, it's not. It's not. It's just redistributionist in a different manner. The left wing wants to redistribute white property and Christian property. That's the far left, and the far right wants to redistribute Jewish property over religion or race. It's the same thing. You're still negating the right to own and defend yourself and your property, including through speech. That blanket blaming is terrible, and we have to make the distinction that these people are not on the right. They're just part of that horseshoe that hates Jewish people.
Awesome. Thank you, Monkey, for that. We got a whole bunch of super chats. Let me go through them before I go to the next. We're not done with Rubio. I have another epic Rubio
I love that guy.
segment. Yes, me too. Fleshy Interloper saying, thank you so much for the super chat, Fleshy, saying there is already a story being peddled that JD is winning the midterms.
I wonder whose influence operation that is. I wonder who's behind that.
Wait, how could JD be winning the midterms? He's not like the people close to him.
And maybe it's projection. Okay. Maybe he's the one that's running influence operations because JD Pence is trying to get in the White House and he's trying to blame other people and stab people in the back just like Pence does. Like, why? Who is behind that? Who is peddling that? Is it his friends in tech? I wonder.
So I don't know about the midterms because JD is not running. But if you look at Poly Market for 2028, which I know is too early, and I know that these numbers won't tell you anything about what's happening in 2028, but they do tell you about what's happening right now, right? So it's true that JD Vance's numbers are above Marco Rubio, but the trend is right now is with Rubio. So as you can see, that JD Vance used to be 30, and now he's 20, and Marco Rubio used to be like under 10%. And now he's 14. Like he used to be, I don't know, like 4 or 5%. And now, so JD Vance is higher than Marco Rubio, but JD Vance is going down and Marco Rubio is going up. So that's what I'm saying, at least.
Yes, then, like he doesn't require to run. He doesn't have a win to a presidential ticket to make the claim that is his influence that won the midterm. Like that's the claim. Like if it's being peddled that he is the reason that the Republicans might win the midterm. So that's a political thing for the presidency. We're not claiming that he's running now. I see some people in the chat saying he's not running. And like, what? Well, that's not what we're trying to say. Like,
no,
he's calm down, homies.
Steve is asking. No, they're just asking a question. Steve. Like, I didn't say he's not. Like, because I said he's not running. I meant the midterms. He's running for the presidential, probably. Yeah, for sure. And then you start this one. Yes, Marco Rubio zooted them. They out-zooted.
Yes. The problem is they might like it.
Oh, just like Muhammad. He did put himself in that position. Mortaza Mortad. Great username, saying, read Ayn Rand. Don't just save the West, but promote it to the world. Yes, reading Ayn Rand was a good idea. I'm not saying she's right about everything, but... Huh?
I will. I'll read it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
I should have read her by now.
Yeah. She obviously has, you're not going to agree with anybody 100%, but you could, take the good and leave the parts that you don't agree with, obviously. And thank you for the recommendation. Amir with a super chat saying, just noticed the famous cat in this community, Cat Miowski, grew to 1K subs. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations to her for her good work. Yes. Thank you for keeping an eye on all the birds in your area. As cats usually do. I appreciate that. Thank you, Miyaski. Congratulations. Mazel tov. And then we got Bunny with a super chat saying, Elika LeBlanc posted a video yesterday describing the scapegoat theory. Makes perfect sense of this newest anti-Semitic shift. Yes, basically, I mean, this has been the thing. The scapegoat theory is nothing new. This has been going out for more than 2,000 years for the Jews. It's been like JD Vance is just doing what other people have been doing, using Jews as a scapegoat for, 2,000 years. They're the most popular scapegoat. And thank you so much, Bunny, for the super chat. And then Shauna with the super chat saying, I just looked it up. The left hates Vance more in the famously blue Pacific Northwest. Rubio is seen an apolitical adversary, but a normal one. Oh, interesting. Okay,
thank you, Shana, seen more apolitical because he seems more. See, the left love appeals to authority and the image of authority, and Rubio does seem more controlled, more measured. Like he's more of a political animal. Like Trump is like a bull in a china shop. He's definitely necessary, the best president I've ever had. But the measured, toned, and eloquent speaker that Rubio is very different. That's why a lot of people have a preference for him. I wouldn't say that Trump is a hindrance at all, but I think he was the president for his time, and that America would be better served by Marco Rubio.
I do believe though that we do have some allies in the left. Like I don't dismiss the entirety of the left. There are people in the left that are more traditionally liberal, meaning that they believe in liberty, they're anti-communism, they're pro-capitalism. We do have allies in the left, so I'm not going to dismiss everybody in the left.
You remember how Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, and now Fetterman is talking about just leaving the Democrats because they've gone too insane? That's a feeling that goes strongly center left, and it won Trump the presidency, and more people are being pushed out of the left by the extreme left.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, I mean that's the Democratic Party. I don't think the Democratic Party defines like the left, But yeah,
but just like
that's
in the practical effect, yes.
Right. Yes, that is the left the representation of the left in America for sure. Yes, and thank you, Shana, for the super chat. And then we have Casey with a super chat saying Nux's take on JD Vance, I believe, is correct. Oh, what is his take?
Okay, so he doesn't like him. He doesn't like him at all. I saw a little bit of it yesterday, but I love Nux. He is my inspiration. Like Armin is my mentor, but Nux is my inspiration to speak to you with this face and have anyone that doesn't just want to put their name and their face out there say, hey, you can be heard too, just like me. You can come in here, give your super chats, give your support, and talk in the chat, and you will be heard, and you are being heard. And Case is correct on Nux. Nux is a great guy. Support him very much, and thank him for his collaboration with Armin and Goldie. Yeah, I love that guy.
Yes. Yeah, guys. I mean, I don't know why some people are still making excuses for JD Vance. Like it's pretty obvious. Like everybody, most people on our side are getting this correctly. So if you see anybody making excuses for him, like I don't know, either they don't get what's happening or they're lying to you. And thank you, Casey. Thank you for the super chat.
I think a lot of people don't get it too.
True. Do you want to read this one, Shana? From Shana?
Shauna is telling us it's not your voters that matter. It's also how much the enemy hates you. The PNW hate Vance, the Pacific Northwest hate Vance the way some right hate AOC. Okay, AOC is annoying, and if some people find Vance annoying, I can understand it as someone that is really annoyed. There's like, oh, I can't stand the guy. I don't want to listen to him. Like we have a little bit of that around here. Like I chimped out. I couldn't take it. So I would understand that feeling about Vance in the right wing in the Pacific and the left wing in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. So I think that's an advantage that Rubio might have because Vance would get more people from the left to come motivated to come vote against them. From the left, even if they don't support Rubio, I don't think he angers them that much to bring that many people in big numbers to vote against them. Like Vance would encourage a lot of more negative voting, for the other side. So that's a good point, Shona. We'll see how that turns out. Agent Anderson with the super chat saying also militant is what Hamas and Hezbollah call themselves. Right? Yes, I will remember. I will try to remember to add the word terrorist to the militants because militant is not a positive. Like it's just it's a descriptive. It's not normative. It's not supposed to. It's not a judgment. Okay, because
it's more technical.
Yes, it's technical. Like you're not passing judgment. You're describing. Militants could be good or bad, and terrorists are bad militants, but they are militants. But you're right. Yeah. Okay, let's go to another Rubio speech. This one is pretty good. I mean, I haven't listened to them, but I know Kaveh picks these for me, so thank you, Kaveh, if you're watching.
It is time for the people of the civilized world to defend ourselves, to stand united against this encroaching darkness and fight for what is ours. It is easy to destroy great things. It is far more difficult to make them. The enemies of civilization are only capable of the former, They're only capable of destroying great things. All they know is destruction. But we have built great things together. We have done it time and again. We know what we must do, and now we must do it. It is.
I want 8 hours of Rubio speaking about civilization and the enemies of civilization and the things that we need to do. Can we get like an 8-hour speech that I could just play in the background while I'm exercising or eating food? Like, what do I have to do to get 8 hours of this?
You know what? I would love that too. I would really, really love that. That would be excellent. I would not be able to get enough of that. Like 100% on board for that. I wanted to share something that I think is important. I'm going to do so right now. Oh my God. Okay. Window. Here we go. Let me see if I can share this. This is an important map that we should look at, because what we're talking about here is Rubio and Rubio's influence, right? Right now, we have this Shield of the Americas. Shield of the Americas is a partnership between America and all our Southern American, Central American allies. And what's going on here is all these countries marked in red were left wing. This is communist red, right? And you see them over here on the, oh, 1 second. You see them over here. Let me see if I can bring this in a little closer. So the way this was going was that all of these countries were red. You see over here on the right where they're turning blue, that means Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Chile, Argentina are all turning to the right wing, to the right of individual rights, to the right of law and order, to the right of everyone to speak their mind and be correctly represented instead of the redistribution of these people. Like all these people that on the left over here were giving their resources over to China, over to Russia, over to they were being sucked dry under a more conservative government, would receive a more meritorious share, but therefore making them a lot richer. Venezuela's over here in purple because they're about to have an election. But this is something that's very important when you look at Rubio. Rubio will have better communication here. Rubio will have more direct communication. Another thing that happens in these countries that people might not know because they're not Latinos is that when you have CNN Spanish and every TV station in these areas being a bunch of leftists, the ability for Rubio to conduct interviews with any and all of these nations in Spanish. Like if we could get Fox Español to do a whole lot of interviews in Spanish with Rubio, that would take all of these people and have their interpretation of what happened destroyed because they're hearing it directly from President Rubio's mouth. As a Latino, I have dealt with this bullshit all my life. All my media, even in Puerto Rico, the media interprets what presidents say because they know most Latinos have a difficulty with English. So what they do is they twist the president's word. It would be incredibly difficult to do that with Rubio. I think he will gain a lot of support with Latinos. I think Latinos are not a small part of the voting bloc. And I think this is why they are afraid. This is why they hate the SAVE Act. They want to disenfranchise people like me because I'm part Black. They want to disenfranchise people like me because I'm Latino. And Latinos and Black people that can vote are disillusioned with the Democrat Party. And they have been either staying home or voting Republican. That scares the shit out of the left. And that's why they hate the SAVE Act. They hate the ID to vote because they want to disenfranchise us. Like, even if you're a Democrat, maybe you would like a blue dog Democrat that is more favorable to you having some help for, daycare, like the real daycare, right? Not these fake daycare. Maybe you want some support if you lose your job. And that's your condition, right? But you get disenfranchised about your blue dog candidate, and the one that gets in is this Hamas flag waving PSA piece of shit. So we're all getting disenfranchised here. I'm close with that.
Okay. Sorry, because I want to make sure that we stay on topic. Okay, but that's
not like
what
the
you could
Rubio
get more
for
of.
president.
Yes.
That was my topic.
Yes. That's what we could get more of with on Monkey's channel. So this is why you need to subscribe to Monkey's channel, because these are the stuff that he talks about. I do want to. I should have played this earlier. Sorry, I don't know why this was put down lower in the order of things. I will tell Kava to put this higher on the list next time. So this is what Monkey was talking about. Trump basically talking about China, mostly China attempting to manufacture fake ballots. So let's listen to this, what President Trump was saying.
Doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that was supposed to burn the bags.
And here's something, a prediction. Monkey, do you want to quickly speak on that before?
Yeah, I just agree. I think I went into it a little bit when I talked about Rubio, about the fraud,
Yes.
about how we're being disenfranchised. And, you know, this goes into it.
And you also mentioned how this is not being covered by the media, right? Which President Trump is also.
They cut him off.
Interesting. So he talks about that over here.
In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets.
It's crazy that they're not covering this. It's crazy. Like, this speech was, so many people were looking forward to this speech for so long, and you're saying it wasn't covered in full. Like, what else would you cover?
Well, the reason is they're part of it. They're complicit.
I mean, it doesn't look good given that he's talking about a cover-up by the media, and then if you don't cover this cover-up, that's very damning. A lot of people are like, oh, okay, we see why you're not covering it.
Yeah, but a propagandist doesn't care about their reputation. They care about tricking as many people as they can, and that's what the media cares about. They don't care about their reputation. If you ask too many questions, you're already against them.
Interesting. The White House. Oh, by the way, she's back. She's back. I missed her. So look at this. There's a statement from the White House regarding wait, is this the one? Oh yeah, okay. So this is interesting because we are, you support President Trump and you're very angry with JD Vance, and I want to see how you respond to this.
Are contradictory of each other. I can tell you the president.
So the question is regarding, they asked whether or not because a lot of people are noticing that they think that what the brave President Trump is talking about, the Islamic Republic, and JD Vance seems to be contradicting each other, and she's saying they're
are
not
contradictory of each other. I can tell you the president, vice president are on the exact same page about where we are right now in this conflict. And the fact that you do see elements of what's remaining in the Iranian regime that are more willing to make a deal, and then other elements who are not so maybe willing to make a deal, shows that Operation Epic Fury was incredibly effective because we are contradictory.
So basically saying Trump and JD Vance are on this exact same page about Iran right now. That's what she's saying. What do you think about that?
I miss her too. I think she's fantastic. I think she's a wonderful person. I think she's an eloquent person. I'm gonna be absolutely real with you. I was answering a message and I didn't catch it. I mean, would you do me a huge service if you ran it back for me? I feel like an idiot. I feel like a fool. I've been caught monkeying around.
No,
so I apologize.
It happens to me all the time. Stop. No,
I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a joke out of it. I know you won't be mad. I just chat. Yeah, chat. Make fun of the monkey. I do monkey around sometime.
No, guys, she's not pregnant. She already gave birth. She has a beautiful baby.
Oh, congratulations, then.
Yes, that's why she wasn't around, because she was pregnant and she already gave birth. She's not pregnant anymore. Okay, so let's play this again.
Are contradictory of each other. I can tell you the president, vice president are on the exact same page about where we are right now in this conflict. And the fact that
So that's the important part. They asked them, the rest is basically saying Operation Epic Fury is successful. But the main part is that the reporters were asking whether JD Vance and President Trump they seem to be speaking as if they don't agree. But she says they're on the same page with regards to Iran. That's what she said.
There's something very specific that where we are right now, and where we are right now is bombing. So if JD Vance is on the same page about bombing, because it's not just where we are right now, that makes it very specific to current, like today, basically, where we are right now. And where we are right now is bombing. So if JD Vance comes out and says, no, hey, we tried, we got to bomb him, that will help him get a lot of points. That would not make me trust him. That would make him more dangerous to me. But, he should be on board because obviously they should get bombed.
So here's what JD Vance does. He continues to support what President Trump is doing. Like, obviously, he's the vice president. He's not going to come and say, like, oh, no, the president did something wrong, right? And every time he does that, the people who want to defend JD Vance, they will come and say, like, see, he's on board with everything. He's on board with everything. Guys, it's not about that. Obviously, whatever President Trump's plan is, JD Vance is going to come and say, like, he's doing great thing. I'm on board with that. Is these things that he says in the middle, that is for his campaigning, that is shows us who he really is. But obviously, his official statements will always be, and actually not just statements, in action also, he's going to see how he could serve the president as a vice president. But he also shows us what his opinions are and how he would probably operate if he wasn't serving the president and everything was his choice, right? That's the part that we're judging.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here's another comment regarding JD Vance, because a lot of people were asking about JD Vance. So what was the question? So White House and JD Vance remarks about Israel. So let's see. So they asked her about JD Vance's remarks about Israel, attacks on Israel, I would say. Let's see how she responds.
On Iran, the Vice President, JD Vance, went on this podcast with Joe Rogan yesterday, talked about Israel, in which he said that there are some people within their system that we know beyond a shadow of a doubt who are manipulating and trying to change American public opinion to keep the war going on indefinitely. Does the president agree with that statement?
I think the president would certainly agree that, yes, foreign countries certainly do try to persuade American public opinion. There's no doubt about that. I think it's just a basic fact.
Okay, so she's being clever about it. She's stating the part that is obvious, Like she said, she's not saying, like, she's very good at her job, to be honest. Okay, she doesn't want to attack JD Vance, so she basically says, "Yeah, the president agrees," and she picks the part that is obviously nobody would disagree with, right? So, for example, imagine if I said, like, "Oh, I hate, like." No, I shouldn't say something that is not. I hate purple people. Screw the purple people. Also, drink some water. I'm thirsty. And say, like, hey, guy, do you agree with that? Like, yes, people need to hydrate. I do agree with that, right? So that's what she's doing.
Yes.
Yes, that's what she's doing. Just was very
Hydration
clever.
good.
Yeah, hydration is good. Yeah, she's just she's like dodging all the really controversial, aggressive positioning against Israel and just zooming on the part that nobody disagrees.
Oh, here like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah. To be people are like, oh, well, that's dishonest. That is her job, is to de-escalate and keep everybody aligned. That's what, like, I can't be upset with her, right? She's trying to represent the White House, and she's supposed to not give ammunition to the enemy to cause tension and division in the White House. Her job is de-escalation, right? Like, this is what she's supposed to do.
Exactly. Like that would be used as a weapon against the administration, like a divided administration. That she knows that, which is why she's answering the way she's answering.
Yes. Okay, so hold on, let me change this. The emoji. All right, so let's go to the next one regarding the Islamic Republic seeking a deal. Is this the right one? Yeah, I think so.
President Trump has now greenlit strikes on Iran for nearly every day this week. Does the White House describe negotiations more at a standstill or essentially completely over?
Well, I've spoken with the president about this as recently as an hour ago. Iran very much continues to talk to the United States of America and express that they want to make a deal with us because they are suffering devastating blows on behalf of our United States military. The reason, and this is important for the American people to understand, the reason for the recent strikes over the course of the last several days is because Iran violated the memorandum of understanding that we struck with them.
President Trump has now greenlit strikes on Iran.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, we're hitting them. We're gonna keep hitting them. That's gonna keep happening.
Yeah, but when we say they want a deal, a lot of people get worried. They're like, okay, but you shouldn't. It doesn't matter if they want a deal. Like, why are we keep saying that they want a deal? Who cares that they want a deal? They cannot be trusted. So how would you respond to that? Like, stop saying they want a deal.
That's probably an instruction. Like everyone is telling Trump, stop talking about making a deal. He won't shut up about it. If I could talk to the president, I would tell him, hey, why don't you stop talking about this fucking deal with these assholes? You know there's scum. You think it's a good point for you to keep talking about this fucking deal? But she has to do what he says. And he's probably like, make sure they know they want a deal. You got to tell them they want a deal. They are calling. I am sending them the voicemail.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Even if you're not going to do a deal with them, I think there's utility in saying that they want a deal because it shows how weak they are and how much they've been humiliated. I mean, even if you're not going to give them a deal, the fact that they're on their knees calling you and begging for it needs to be exposed, needs to be shared. So that's the defense for that.
A better steel, man, is like, we're not going to tell them there's no deal because then they're just going to launch everything and we want to hold them back as long as possible. You tell them there's no deal, there's no way, we're just going to keep bombing you. They're going, okay, well, let's just launch everything at Israel right now because that's who we logically hate, and let's just launch everything at our Persian Gulf allies because that's who we wait. Like, if the second you say there is no deal, there will be no deal, they're just going to go scorched earth. And if you can drain them, a little by little and have them launching a little by little and draining their resources little by little, that's more convenient than saying, no, there's not going to be a deal and letting them go with a full saturation attack, which is harder to defend against.
That is a very good point. You need to provide. You need to leave a door away, open for them, to just give them some hope, even if it's false hope. I don't know if it's false hope, but even if you're not going to give them a deal, you have to make them guess that maybe you are. But it's interesting that if the Islamic Republic falls for that, this is the third time the United States has done this to them, and it's really embarrassing if they fall for it a third time. They fell for it, like, hey, let's do a deal. Right before Operation Midnight Hammer and the 12-day war, they were in the middle of the negotiations, and the United States, bam, hit them in the middle of the negotiations. Then they're like, hey, let's do a deal. Right in the middle of negotiations. The United States managed to trick the Islamic Republic, thinking a deal is right around the corner, to the point where Ali Khamenei came out of his bunker. And then, bam, they hit him right in the middle of negotiations with the United States, with the Americans. If this happens a third time, honestly, like, they should just be like, you know what, we deserve this. Just bomb us.
Do you know
They
why
should.
it might happen a third time?
Why?
Psychologically, the second they go scorched earth, they're going to deplete everything they have. Like, scorched
Right.
earth means depletion. So if they go scorched earth, they get depleted. In the back of their head, they say, I don't want to be depleted. So maybe there is hope. So they might fall for it just because psychologically being without bullets is not good. And you might say, well, we're still in this fight. There's still a chance. And as long as you can say that, you're not out of bullets. So even though it's stupid to believe, right? And we don't know. Like, we don't know if they are working towards a deal. I would be completely against it, right? But having that hope allows you to keep something in reserve. Without that hope, you have to go all out. And once you go all out, you got nothing left. So that might psychologically make them kind of want to believe.
Makes sense. True. The next one is I'm preparing you for something ugly. So I'm gonna show you some beautiful things to just get prepared for the ugly. Okay, guys, just these are, just be ready. Okay, we're gonna go from beautiful to ugly. Sorry for the ugly that is about to come. So this is a treat here. 20-second treat.
Is able to put on the greatest show in
So she's talking about the kindness of America.
is able to put on the greatest show in sports in the world. And we are a kind people, we are hardworking people, and we have the best country on the planet. And I know I've loved seeing the videos from foreigners from around the world who have traveled to the United States, and I've been quite surprised about how lovely and enjoyable the United States is. I don't think we get enough credit. Is able to
100% true. You don't get enough credit. The world thought that the Americans were a bunch of aggressive, rude, loud people. And this FIFA, these soccer games, the World Cup, has completely changed the view of the worldwide views on Americans. Everywhere, people are talking about how kind the Americans are, and how hospitable they are, and how big their hearts are. And it's going viral on social media. Everywhere, everybody is talking about it. They're so surprised. Like, everything was completely different from what the media made them believe. So that is such a beautiful. I know many Americans don't care about soccer, don't care about the World Cup, but like, they have to know this World Cup changed the image of Americans globally.
Did you ever travel to the US in car? Like just in a car, like have a long road trip through?
The longest in the US in a travel, it was in a car, was 3 hours, and it was all in LA.
Oh my God, that's so little. Okay, so the thing about this is I'm gonna point out why it had such an effect. When you're in a car and you're going state to state because you're in a team and you have like different drivers driving 24 hours, you get to stop in many small towns. Now, it's not the same to say, oh, I was in LA and it was beautiful, than to stop in 20, 30 small towns and see 20 to 30 small towns be beautiful, treat you nice, have good food, right? So that's the difference. The touring through, because some of they were in different stadiums, and the fact is, because of American football, especially college football, the stadiums here are very capable of holding a World Cup game in any state. Like, state football is crazy popular and is very well funded. So because they could have games all over America, and they got to see a lot of the small towns, like, wait a minute, this can't be just propaganda. If 30 towns are this nice and this pretty in small town America. So that had an effect. on many teams that got to go all over the place.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. So I think, you know, the problem is that this negative image of Americans was not the view, not just the view of the world of Americans. It had turned into the view of Americans on Americans as well. Like many Americans feel like, yeah, we are rude people. You don't want to, like, Americans, you know, you don't, you know, sorry for the Americans. You know, we probably, when we go places, we misbehave. Like Americans believe this about Americans, which is so sad. And I think it's not just the rest of the world that was shocked about the kindness of Americans. Americans were also shocked about this going viral and how the world is seeing them. They were like, oh, really? We're this good? Like, we're actually this good? Like, the Europeans and the Japanese and the Koreans and everybody else, when they were praising Americans and telling the people how amazing Americans are, the Americans were watching this as well. And they were learning something about themselves, that, oh my God, we're actually this good. Right? So I think this was educational, not just to other people, but also it improved the self-image that Americans have of themselves as well. This World Cup had a huge impact on the global image of Americans. I hope people understand that.
It also did an incredible job for air conditioning. We have air conditioning everywhere, and the Europeans were so jealous. And I hope they change some legislation, because just baking in the. Do you know that more Europeans die from heat in the summers than Americans are dying from gunshot wounds? They're getting one-shotted by not having an air conditioner.
Shit. Are you kidding?
No. I saw the Hermit King go through the statistics, and it is horrible. Like, the amount of people that die from heat stroke in Europe during the summer is crazy.
No. Are you kidding me?
Also, the amount of gun violence in U.S. is exaggerated. What's exaggerated is the dangers of, like, having a Second Amendment. That's what gets greatly exaggerated.
I'm trying to find a video. I don't know who was this. It was this Japanese person or Korean person. I don't know. But another thing that shocked people were the food portions. Like, whenever they went to a restaurant, I was like, they were looking at the food that delivered. Like, I didn't order this much. They're like, no, you did. Like, there was this one Japanese person. I don't know. And also the free stuff that comes before you eat. They're like, what? Is this a gift? Like, what did I do? Am I supposed to pay for this? I'm like, no, it just comes before the food. So they were shocked about that. And there was
bread rolls.
Yes. And somebody was like complaining because they're getting fed so much that they couldn't eat the actual meal that they ordered because they were not used to it, right? But there was this Japanese guy, I think it was Japanese, that when they brought the food to him and he saw how big it is, he was like looking at this waiter and he was like, but I don't deserve this. What did I do? It was so cute. They're like, I do not deserve this.
Look. Okay, so you know what? Now you guys know why we're fat.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I do realize I have to lose at least 20 pounds, probably closer to 30.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I eat a lot. I just eat the right. I eat the right things. Here's what I figured out. The secret
Don't kick
to
me
weight
while
management.
I'm down.
Oh, okay. I'm just giving you a hack. I'm just giving everybody a hack because I eat. Okay, let me speak. I eat a lot every day, but I just eat the right things. That's why I don't get fat, because I just eat the right things. But anyways, let's go to this one.
Garrett.
Caroline, welcome back.
Good to see you.
Likewise. To the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming.
Oh, so he's referring to President Trump's speech regarding past elections.
Tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming. The 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. The 2024 election, widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people look at this.
Because it was too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this.
There's a massive amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
No one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, I think the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well,
Oh.
first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history of the world. And what the president will be speaking about tonight will show you that perhaps that is not the case. And we need to make some adjustments moving forward, including the Save America Act, as Rachel pointed out, is a key legislative priority for this president on Capitol Hill. And he wants to see all senators and members of Congress voting in favor of the Save America Act, because it's crucially important as we move forward.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was a very dumb question. Why can't the president let it go? It's only the foundation of your civilization, the election, the sanctity of your election. Isn't that like what your entire country is? Isn't that the core, the founding principle of everything else? Representation of the people having their voice heard, and the government by the people for the people. Isn't that like the whole what everything else rests upon? Like, why can't the president let that go? Why can you? That's the question. Of what can you? Why do you let it go? Isn't this is about
Democrats
like also
love
if this
crime.
if this
They
was
hate
allowed
punishing
if
crime.
this was allowed in the past, that means it's going to happen in the future. So this is not just about the past. But go on.
They love crime. Like, let it go. What? He stabbed somebody? He murdered somebody? Election fraud? Just let it go, guy. Let's look towards the future. We're going to have a therapy suggestion. We're going to manifest in a circle holding hands, and that's going to fix everything. Or at least, that's going to be our attitude to the things we like. So, we like crime. We like releasing people after they've committed murder and essay. And we don't believe in crime and punishment. We think jails are evil. Like, you just had to have a manifest, punishment. Why can't you let it go, guy? Murder? Why can't you let it go? Essay? Why can't you let it go? Armed robbery? Why can't you let it go? Voter fraud? Why can't you let it go, pal? Why you got to be punishing all the crime? That's basically the Democrat ticket.
It's just like, why can't he let it go? Like, it's just unbelievable. Anyways, we already got these we already got the White House. Let's go to some garbage and see what Nick Fuentes has to say. Guys, I know, Armin, I don't want to listen. It's important to listen to your enemy, okay? It's important. Just like we watch videos from Durka videos to understand what our enemy is thinking, we have to also look at the work Reich. Is that how you say the Nazi Reich? Yes, the work Reich, because people say don't say work right. So should I say work Reich? Anyways, I work right.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. And the work left and the work right. We also need to listen to them. So we listen to Mamdani as the main person that is representative, like one of the main people. We listen to the jihadis. We listen to this idiot and the Nazis as well. So we have to listen to what our enemy is saying.
The nicest interpretation is the isolationist right. I think they're just Marxists who hate Jews instead of white people. But the nicest way you could say it is the isolationist right. For those that are just deceived, they don't have that heart. They don't have that in their heart. So that's the nicest way to say it. But woke Reich is great.
Reich. It's hard for me to say it, but I'll try. Hold on, I'm gonna put the monkeys channel in the background so I have it ready. All right. So yes, let's listen to what he's saying. He's talking about Israel, and I haven't pre-watched this, so I have no idea what we're about to walk into. But this is about Israel and Iran.
So you're telling me Israel spies on our country, Israel influences our policy, Israel's calling you an anti-Semite, a horrible...
Okay, well, let me just stop right there, okay, Monkey, because Israel influences our country. you also influence Israel. Like every country influences every other country. You influence Israel more than Israel influences you. Why is this word influence a negative thing? Anyway, it's insane.
So you're telling me Israel spies on our country, Israel influences our policy, Israel's calling you an anti-Semite, a horrible thing to call somebody, Israel's poisoning the peace deal because they want us to die and spend money on their wars. You're a reasonable moderate on that? Does that even make any sense? Do you believe that? If J.D. Vance believes that Israel is paying Americans to buy off influencers to sabotage diplomacy, then what is the necessary conclusion? It means Israel wants Americans to die in their war. Israel wants us to spend trillions of dollars on their war.
Israelis die in your war. More Israelis die in a war that America is in than Americans die in the war that Israel is in. They're doing a lot of the dying as well. America has sacrifices a lot. Israel pays its fair share in sacrifice as well. I don't know what you're talking about. They more of their soldiers are dying than American soldiers, and their soldiers are dying killing your enemies. I mean, not your enemies specifically because you're anti-American, but at least America's enemies.
He's separating Hezbollah from IRGC. That's a trick that they use. He's separating Hezbollah and Hamas from the IRGC. That's how he gets to say that we die and Israelis don't, because they're like when Israel is helping us with Iran, it's because Iran is also Hamas and Hezbollah, and he's separating those losses on the Israeli side.
Okay, but Hezbollah killed many Americans directly. Hezbollah.
I know, but he's a piece of shit, so he's not gonna, bring that up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you. Like, I understand what's going on here, but he's talking to the people that don't know.
Right. So the most horrific incident was the year I was born, 1983, the Marine barracks bombing. They targeted the U.S. embassy in Beirut, and I don't remember how many died, but it was a lot. Hundreds of Americans were died in one attack by Hezbollah. It was a direct attack from Hezbollah.
You are so young.
Yes, I'm very young, but I don't know if guys, Americans in the chat, did you guys know that Hezbollah, the people that Israel is killing, killed hundreds of Americans in one attack in 1983? Did you guys knew that?
I'm guessing most didn't. If you want to go into it, you probably should. Like, even if it makes a segment a little longer, you want to look up some stuff on it, go ahead, because a lot of people don't know. And that's why this guy gets over. That's why people fall for his shit, because most people don't know.
Okay.
Like, chat probably knows, but people that might find this clip or might find this, you make this a video, like people who find this later, it's good for them to know.
So before 9/11, the deadliest terrorist attack against the United States in history was by Hezbollah before 9/11. So, and that was a direct attack. So even if Hezbollah was not a proxy of the Islamic Republic, which it is, in fact, it's not even a proxy, it is the Islamic Republic. So in 1983, October 23, 1983, Hezbollah suicide bomber drove a truck packed with explosives into the U.S. Marine Corps barracks in Beirut, Lebanon. So not the embassy, Marine Corps barracks. The casualties, let me see. Okay, here's the blast killed 241 American servicemen, 220 Marines, 18 Navy soldiers, and 3 Army soldiers. This remains the deadliest single-day death toll for U.S. Marine Corps since the battle of, I don't know how to pronounce this, since the battle in World War II. And then, this is what I was getting mixed with. So that was in 1983, but we had also had another attack in 1983 on the embassy in Beirut. Hezbollah targeted the American diplomatic presence in Lebanon multiple times. This was in April 1983. embassy bombing. A suicide car bombing at the U.S. embassy in Beirut killed 63 people, including 17 Americans. Among them were top CIA officials and military personnel. And next year, in September 1984, embassy annex bombing, another suicide vehicle attack struck the U.S. embassy annex, killing 24 people, including 2 U.S. military. So the major one was the 1983 Barracks bombing, which killed 241.
I think this isn't said enough. I think it needs to be said more.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know, Nick Fuentes, that's what Nick Fuentes hides from you. Like, oh, dude, this is their war. This is your war. In fact, I know these people are anti-Jewish and anti-Israeli, but the main reason why they kill Israelis is because their goal is to destroy America, and Israelis, they consider Israel to be an extension of America, and in their path. They consider Israel to be an obstacle in their way to eventually get to the United States. And for America, because every time you hear Hezbollah, you think like, oh, Middle East, the Islamic Republic, enemy of Israel. More Americans need to know this, that Hezbollah has killed many Americans.
I mean, their root is in that pan-Arabic stuff, and they've always been against the petrodollar. It's changed now because we don't even use that anymore. But it's been their root always. They have always been against the U.S. Israel has always been a friend to us over there, and that's kind of the root of it. It has always been about their support that they get from Russia, from the support that Russia gave to Mossadegh, from the influence of China giving them all their spy equipment so they can spy on Iranians. Like, this has always been like a bad triangle. China, Russia, and Iran has always been a bad triangle against individual liberties in the Middle East and all over the earth.
So I wouldn't. So just a small correction. I would say they're pan-Islamists more than pan-Arabists. Pan-Arabists was the PLO and Arafat, and Jamal Abdel Nasser being their main leader of the pan-Arabist movement. The Hezbollah is a Shia pan-Islamist, not a pan-Arabist movement.
But that's the root, right? They've always been against America. Their excuses changed, and their rhetoric against locals changed. They kind of program locals now to make it more about religion. Before, they used to make it more about race or something. Like, the excuses changed, but the aim has always been the same. Like, these people are always aimed, although the anti-American forces, anti-Israeli forces, they do shift, and they have like their little heads, interchange. But this anti-American sentiment has always been about people against our individual freedoms and our individual rights, and people who are against that aligning. That's how I would I'm using a larger frame.
Yeah, so the pan-Arabists and the pan-Islamists share the same enemy, which is the West. That's how I would describe it. Yes.
And they also use the same excuse. Like, Palestine didn't that start? That's what I was getting at, that this whole thing started with them.
So the pan-Arabists are kind of like socialist, leftist Nazis, right? They're very much like the Hitler, a socialist, basically, racist socialists, which is exactly like Hitler, right? And they use the Palestinian cause as an excuse against America, and then they failed, and then the pan-Islamists took over, and they also used the Palestinian cause against America and Western imperialism and Zionism. So they both the pan-Arabists and the pan-Islamists use the Palestinian cause as a tool against Western power and Zionism. Yes.
So this is why it's good to follow. Like, if you're on my channel and you're not following liberty politics, I don't know what you're doing, because I can give you the American takes, but these details, this insight comes from people like Armin over here at Liberty Politics.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, Ba'ath Party also. Ba'ath Party is kind of more fascist Nazism. Yeah, they're closer to the commies, the socialists. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, they did. So, Monkey, one thing that I think you are very correct about is that they kept on copying each other's homework. like the pan-Islamists and the pan-Arabists, they're anti-imperialist commie language. So like, for example, you could see in a lot of Islamic literature, communist language against the United States, and you could see in a lot of in the Middle East, right? And in a lot of in a lot of communist literature, you see a lot of Islamic like vocabulary against the West and against the United States. So they copy each other's homework and they borrow ideas from each other.
Absolutely. And thank you for helping us with that.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for asking. So let's go with this.
Horrible thing to call somebody. Israel's poisoning the peace deal because they want us to die and spend money on their wars. You're a reasonable moderate on that? Does that even make any sense? Do you believe that? If J.D. Vance believes that Israel is paying Americans to buy off influencers to sabotage diplomacy, then what is the necessary conclusion? It means Israel wants Americans to die in their war. Israel wants us to spend trillions of dollars on their war. What happens if peace fails? What happens if diplomacy fails? What happens if the deal collapses? It means Americans will die. It means we are trapped. We are stuck. It means inflation goes up, gas prices stay high. It means we may be involved in a ground war in Iran. That's not a joke. That is serious. And Vance says, we know they're doing it. He says, we know exactly what they're doing. We know this is the agenda hatched in Israel by their government. They're paying Americans to poison the well in the conversation and attack the people making the deal. And the conclusion is they want Americans to permanently be.
He's going to attack Vance. He's going to say, like, if you know this, then why are you not doing this? That's my prediction. Maybe. I don't see. He's going to attack Vance because he wants to be the only Jew hater in the United States. This man cannot tolerate any leading Jew hater in the United States other than himself.
Nah, he's going to back him.
And in the same sentence, Vance says, I don't mind it. Everybody else does it. I get why they do it. It's fine. I'm a reasonable moderate on that issue. It's this equivocation, trying to make everybody happy, trying to make us happy without pissing off the Israelis, trying to make the Israelis happy without pissing off us. No, that's not the Trump way. That's not the Trump playbook. That's not decisive. That's not bold. And it doesn't work. And it doesn't make any sense.
Wow, you were right.
If you really believe that
yeah, I know this guy. I watch him a lot. So he's like, he hates competition. He like, stop hating on Jews. As you know, that's my job. Like, I'm the leader. He doesn't like. He's
basically working for Democrats.
Yes. Yes.
Things you were saying, you wouldn't be a reasonable moderate. You would be saying, this is enough. We give this country billions.
Okay, so he thinks this is what Vance should do. Is like, if this is the case, if what he's saying, if what Vance is saying is true, then you guys are pathetic in your response. That's what he's trying to say.
And it doesn't work, and it doesn't make any sense. If you really believe the things you were saying, you wouldn't be a reasonable moderate. You would be saying, this is enough. We give this country billions of dollars. We've done more than enough for this country. They don't listen. And then they're trying to influence our policy. They better get in line. They better get in line. They better join and be a part of the solution and the peace process, or they should fight for themselves then. That should be the message. But again, he can't do that because he is a politician. He is a congenital politician. That's why he was a never Trumper in 2016, and now he's a national conservative in 2026. That's why a couple of years ago, when he got the nomination at the convention, he said we need to bomb Iran really hard. And now that it's not working out, he says, oh, well, I just have to do whatever the president says. Remember? 2 years ago, Sean Hannity interviewed him at the Republican convention, and Hannity said, what do you think about foreign policy? And Vance said, I think we need to punch Iran hard. He said, no more of these minor strikes. We need to hit Iran and hit them hard. He said that at the convention when he was formally nominated. 2 years later, when we actually do it, he goes, well, I just had to support the president.
This is good for us because this is turning even the anti-Israelis against JD Vance. So this is basically a great target on the people that would vote. Like this is turning the main ISOCOX and anti-Israelis against JD Vance. So this is good for us.
Look, I gotta give it to him. He is. People say he's stupid. He's not stupid. He's evil. Like this is a high IQ anti-Semite, right? Like he is willing to sabotage the Republicans and tell you to vote Democrat. But in him doing so, he's gonna attack the weakest figures on the right. And Vance is like the thing he's saying about Vance or JD Pence about him like trying to deflect, him trying to be strong when it's convenient and kind of like make it all Trump's fault. I just got to do what the president says, like putting it back on the president. That kind of shit, that JD Pence two-faced kind of thing. Him pointing that out, I mean, it is convenient for us that this is a high IQ anti-Semite. You can't really do anything with Candace but laugh at her.
True. No, yeah. So a Texas troop saying LMAO, now he's anti-Vance. He's always been anti-Vance. Even when he says something nice about him, he kind of says like, yeah, he's this thing and this thing. Like he attacks him, and then he said, but here he said something good. But then he's always been against Vance. This man, like he cannot handle other people basically taking attention away from him. And he doesn't want isolationists and anti-Israelis to support anyone else. He wants to say like, I'm the only one, like I'm the only guy here. Like other people, he calls them low IQ anti-Semitism or fake opposition. He's the only person that is he tries to tell his audience that if you want Jew hate, I got the real stuff for you. If you want the right position against Israel, I'm the honest person with you guys. I have the high intelligence, high IQ, honest takes so everybody who wants to save America against the Jewish takeover, you come to me. Don't go to JD Vance. Don't go to Candace Owens. I got the real stuff over here.
There's another point here. Like me saying he's high IQ, I'm not saying that any part of anti-Semitism is a high IQ. This is relative. Like a puddle isn't deep, but there is a deeper side of the puddle, right? Just because I'm saying, hey, that's the deepest side of the puddle, that doesn't mean that the puddle is deep. It just means there is a section of the puddle that's deeper than the rest of the puddle. When I say high IQ, yeah, it's high IQ, but it's high IQ for an anti-Semite, which is not very high IQ at all because you're working against America. Because we can't be these isolationists because that makes us weak. We live in a global system. We have global trade. We depend on global trade, and we're not going to give it up. Give it up makes us weaker with time. So it's still all low IQ. But the deepest part of the puddle, even though the puddle is shallow, it's still deeper than the edge. Like he's still deeper than Candace. Like you gotta see, like you gotta be relative about this.
True. No, that's a good point. Okay, actually, look at this. He actually hates Vance. Apparently, I haven't watched the Save Mix video, but based on these banner texts that you see at the bottom, your super chats go to me paying this guy that find these videos for me, and he also prepares the banner text that goes at the bottom. So I don't know what we're about to watch, but I judge it based on what the banner text is. So let me see. Okay, so let's see what he says here.
So I'm sure many of you guys have seen it and you've heard about it. JD Vance was on Joe Rogan for a 3-hour interview. Honestly, I just can't stand this person. Ooh. So let me just say at the outset, I'm not objective at all because I just can't stand this guy. And it's so funny because I put the interview on and I knew exactly how it was going to go. I set a timer. I set a stopwatch. I said, how quickly are we going to get that fake laugh? How soon into the interview are we going to get JD Vance doing his fake laugh at something that isn't even funny? Joe Rogan is going to say, all right, we're here for the interview. And JD Vance is going to be like, I was like, literally, how long is it going to take to get that? 15 seconds. Oh my God. 15 seconds into the interview.
It's getting real personal here.
Literally like, all right, so we're doing this thing. So, Mr. Vice President, hey, Joe. It's like he didn't say anything funny. He hasn't said anything yet. You got to wait until they say something funny to laugh, JD. You got to wait until he says something funny. Then you laugh. And the other thing
Look,
I can't.
Nervous laughter is not a good, like, even if it is, like, you could be the kind of, maybe he's a little nervous, right? And people laugh when they're nervous. Yeah, but you're a fucking international diplomat for the US. You can't have nervous laughter giving away the game. So, like, I mean, look, I'm not saying he's super intelligent. I mean, his attacks can be pretty good. Like, that is smart. It's not a super smart take, but he's being a good tool.
Yeah, guys, this is good for us. I know we don't like Nick Fuentes, but he's causing division among the ISO cucks, among the anti-Israelis. We want the infighting. Okay, we want the fight between Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, JD Vance. This is good for us. So as much as we hate this guy, what he's doing right now is actually helping our side. He's causing divisions among the anti-American crowd. He's actually, like, he's also causing destroyed the unity between the Muslims and the the woke right as well. So this is good.
Like, he didn't say anything funny. He hasn't said anything yet. You got to wait until they say something funny to laugh, JD. You got to wait until he says something funny. Then you laugh. And the other thing I can't do is the relatability shtick. He's always got to throw something out there in the first 2 minutes to make him sound relatable. So they're talking about the UFC fight on the White House lawn. And that's their common ground. They're going to rap about that. Vance is at the West Wing. Joe Rogan is a UFC guy. They had the UFC fight at the White House. And so Vance says, I got to tell you, Joe, the only thing I was concerned about is with every delay from the weather, I had to go and promote my book the next day. I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to get to bed until 4 a.m. Shit, I'm not going to get any sleep.
What the fuck?
And it's like, bro, just shut the fuck up.
I hate, this is, what are you doing? You're making me agree with Nick Fuentes. What are you doing here? That is so, oh my God. That's so annoying.
This is just grab popcorn and enjoy this. Yeah.
Joe, the one thing I was concerned about is I'm not going to get any sleep tonight. Isn't that? Oh my gosh, that's so relatable. Oh my gosh. I felt the same way. Me watching at home, I felt the same way. I thought, what time am I going to get to bed? It's like that with everything. It's always doing this relatability, and it's always the swear words. They're always saying all this bullshit about me. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, dude, just please kill me. You all know where I live. Please just end it all immediately. So
okay, we do not condone any ill happening about Nick Fuentes. He is slapping JD Vance pretty handily right now. Just let him do it. Just let him smack JD Vance rhetorically.
It would be really bad for his business if the ISO-cock anti-Israelis win, elections, because when you feel like you're being represented and your voice is being heard, then you're not feeling angry enough to go to content like this. You're like, oh, guys, we did it. Mission accomplished. So the demand for content that Nick Fuentes would make is higher when people are frustrated with the system and they feel like they're being betrayed and they feel like the Jews are taking over. If you bring somebody like JD Vance and like, oh, wow, we stopped the Jews. Okay, let's go home and do other things now because we've been successful. Good. So it would be in his benefit if the side that he pretends to be on keeps losing. Like if the system is still against you, if they're, you need the rage, you need the anger, You don't need.
There's another side to this. I think if I remember he was on the side of Trump when Trump
Oh, yeah.
was looking like he was going to win, right? So let's say you want to be ahead of everybody and you know Vance is going to lose and Rubio is going to win. You want to start by being anti-Vance. And if at the last second you go for Rubio, then you get this huge upswell. And then you flip again and you start going anti-Semite
Oh,
again.
this guy
You might-
hates Rubio. Oh, no.
He hates him?
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Rubio is the main enemy. The main enemy.
You think he wouldn't flip on that?
Oh, no. The one thing he would not flip on is on people who are pro-Israel. Like, if there's one thing consistent with him is
But Trump has always been
anti-Israeli.
pro-Israel. And he was on Trump's side.
Eh,
Maybe he waffles on that when it's really close to the top.
but Rubio is like peak anti-isolationism, pro so at least Trump at some point seemed to be like a little bit anti neocon, anti-military operation. So he was the greatest voice
Yeah.
that some yeah.
He
But
was
Marco
he
Rubio-
was like leaning anti-involvement.
And-
I'll grant you
yes.
that. You got to remember, I never liked this guy. I never thought I would be here. Like, yeah, he's right about Vance. Like I don't know. Like I'm thinking, well, maybe he's trying to get ahead of the curve because he likes being ahead of the curve, and the curve is looking like Marco Rubio is going to be on top. But if he's not going for Rubio or Vance, what is he going to do? Become a Democrat? People are saying that that's where he's going.
Nick Fuentes is just on Nick Fuentes' side. Okay, he's on nobody's side. He's
He's
just
like
on
Piers
his own
Morgan.
Yes. He's on his own side. He thinks he's the solution. Everything he does is a solution. No, he doesn't.
You think he might run?
Ooh, I think he's smart enough to
Locally.
know that he thinks, I don't know if he's being honest, but he thinks the things that he has said makes him unelectable. That's what he says.
Well, maybe he wants to control people that do get elected because he has we
Yes.
can't show our power.
No, he does. He thinks that he has created a Groiper army that has infiltrated everything, and they control things from behind the scenes. Like they're everywhere. The Groipers.
I have like you're not just an expert on Iran and Middle Eastern policy. You're an expert on Nick over here, which is I don't know how this guy moves. So there's this Groiper army, and they're trying to put their fingers in every pot. And he's trying to like, guys, get yourself in there. I do remember like Nux going over him and him saying like, hey, we have to hide our power levels and we can't tell everybody what we think. We just have to get in positions of power.
Right.
Like I do remember him saying that.
Yeah, he thinks that he took down Charlie Kirk's what is it called? Oh my god, what is this group called?
Turning Point USA.
Turning Point USA. Yeah, he thinks that he took it down. He infiltrated it with Groipers and took it away from Charlie Kirk. That's what he thinks.
Candace had more power over screwing with that than he did. Like that's why he hates Candace. He hated Charlie Kirk. Oh my god, he called him Top Goy because Charlie Kirk was too pro-Israel.
And now he's attacking Candace Owens for attacking Charlie and his wife, saying, I was against them, but he's now taking the moral high ground and saying what Candace is doing against, he says, I'm against Charlie Kirk and, what his wife stood for and everything, but he attacks Candace Owens for making this ugly and personal and going after a grieving wife. So he's now trying to take the moral high ground. Saying,
the people who are still in Turning Point would favor him, and that supports his theory of him taking over Turning Point, which is I think is kind of retarded. But like I get what you're okay. I see where this is going. Thanks, Armin. I see where it's going.
Yeah. No worries. It's very good that we pay attention because we have been, a lot of us are focused on Islam and leftism, but we have to watch these guys as well. Okay, these guys are so dangerous. So let's pay attention to these people as well. And we gotta, and thank you, by the way, Monkey, for saying that. I really appreciate it when you say that. Shauna gave us a super chat. You want to read this one, Monkey?
Sure. Shauna says Mormons, Republicans, independent Jews, and evangelicals are united in their pro-Rubio stance. Rubio is also more popular amongst secular conservatives. Yes, Yeah, Rubio is also very popular. I think there's an underestimation of the Latino population and their influence because we love mixing. So you'll have a Latino in every family. Like we get around. I mean, we really do. It's like rabbits. We do have we do get out there, and I think most of us would also be more conservative than people expect. Not like these La Raza people in LA, but if you go through your average Latinos, we are way more conservative and way more Christians than people expect. So he would have also, I'm agreeing with this, but I would also say that Latino Christians would be very much pro Rubio.
Yes. By the way, Texas, you're here. Are you going to come to our group call? I missed hearing your insights. You always have great insights. So if you let us know, I mean, today is going to be open call, so it's going to be hard to get anyone's opinions in. But guys, because today is going to be our group call, let me put the link into our discussion group. Today, our group call is going to be open to everybody. So the negative of that is that it's going to be busy. So it's going to be hard to get in the line to say anything. But the positive is that it's free. So when it's open, so the whole point of the premium VIP group calls is that there's less people. So there's more, you get to say more. But the point of the open ones is that everybody could come. So again, come join a group call. The link is in the chat. The link is in the QR code. Monkey, will you be there today?
I believe so. Yes, I got to grab a quick bite to eat, but I may have to cook it. But I'll do my best to be there on time with bells on, monkey bells.
Okay. Hopefully we get Texas as well. Texas, are you coming today? Because you always have some really good, interesting points whenever you're speaking there. So guys, the link is also in the QR code in the top left. It's in the description. It's also in the bio section of Liberty Politics YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to. If you're watching, right, wherever you are, come to Liberty Politics and subscribe and hit the bell notification so that every time we go live, you see it. Also, another reason is that if you don't want to join our group discussion group for some reason, you could just watch our discussion live on YouTube, which is happening in about an hour and a half from now. So yes, this is, it would be this one. So go to our live section and you could see that the link is over there, so you can watch our discussion. Also, subscribe to the monkey. Let me put the monkey. How many subscribers do you have? 685. So guys, we're trying to get the monkey to 1,000. I'll put the link in the chat.
That does achieve the stream goal. So I want to thank everybody for helping me achieve the stream goal, which was 10 more. Humble goal. Maybe we could get to 90. Like maybe we could get 5 more. Who knows? Like I would love to get to 690 today, if that's at all possible. If you enjoy my commentary, if you want to come by, I am usually at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to try to be steady there for you so that you have a home in that time zone, in that place. For any of you guys, I know a lot of you guys have you guys have different time zones. I want to have a steady place for you here. Like my vision, and Armin probably shares in this, is to have different people at different times, so you can always be on the Liberty Politics Network, right? Getting good information from different perspectives. But when you're looking at objects or subjects, the more perspectives, the better the view, right?
True. Yeah, exactly. And especially if there's disagreement, that would make it even better, because then you get different perspectives. Yes, also, I do agree with you, Stuart, saying we should be worried about China, the CCP, for sure. Yeah, 100%. That's the main threat. And Amir saying, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, guys, don't forget to subscribe to Liberty Politics as well, and Monkey. And
leave comments. YouTube loves comments, and we do too.
Yes, and recommend our channels to your friends and your enemies, especially your enemies, because we want disagreement. All right, guys, Monkey and I are gonna go eat something so we could get ready for our group call in the discussion group in about an hour and a half, and you guys could come and join and give us your opinions as well. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukrainie, Cuba Libre, Long Live America, Javicha, Payende, Iran. Mwah. See you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.